Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Hope y'alls are good. Wait for people to show up before we get started in the stuff.
You're a +1. Oh.
It's just so rando. I don't know who that is.
A very important rando. Good vibes. Amazing. Let's go. Wobbledy, wobbledy. So, how was your day?
Yeah. What's up? Ohio's about to get hit. Oh, by ice. Bro.
Oh, yeah, they're here where I'm at right now. Very close.
Yeah.
I'm very stressed.
There's a big protest today here, and even though I tried so fucking hard, I still didn't know about it. Damn it. Musk is an island boy? Wait, is he in the... Oh boy. Include emails with Musk,
Yeah, he did
Gates,
kind of
and Mutnick.
disappear
I don't know, here it is.
for a while.
For years trying to meet up. They email.
It's disgusting. Very Twin Peaks.
Wow, Tesla's gonna stop making the S and X? Wow.
That's not the problem.
One file said Trump and Musk will stick their fingers in the pussies and grade their tightness. My guy, that is in this file. I'm gonna be going over it. Shit is crazy. I'm gonna be reading through it. It's super fucked.
I feel like they probably would.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess that's all you can hope for in this world at this point. It's either that or riot.
Every one of these yellow ones mentions Trump. They pulled and redacted that right after release because they missed it. This file, I believe, is one of the things they pulled back. But the internet already got it. On OAF Nation probably has the post up? Wait, what do you mean? You have a link? Saw it on OAF Nation. Let's see. Elon's an island boy. That's the one you're talking about, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that post that you're talking about, I'm pretty sure it's in here. In this file. Yeah, it's this part right here. So we're gonna go through this whole thing, or at least all of the Trump mentions, while we go through shit tonight. So that'll be fun. Senate approves spending package allowing for DHS funding negotiation. Oh, and then yeah, Don Lemon got arrested. It's pretty crazy. Man, they're gonna be sending Haitians back to the entire clusterfuck that is Haiti. That's crazy. That place is
Maybe I want to return to Europe.
Safe. Mm.
The world turns around and gets a no you tolerance policy also.
A no what?
Because we're becoming so just not tolerant of everywhere else. Well, the world is turning around and starting to do that back to us.
It's gonna be really bad because I have a food processing plant in Springfield, I believe, and a lot of the employees are Haitian. Yeah, I remember when they had to bend on deporting all the farming workers.
Surprised. Ooh, that's really good.
And they're going to be doing this in the middle of this crazy snow and ice in Ohio. I saw Ohio next. Where is expected to target Haitians. I can't look at her dumb fucking face anymore. I'm so tired of her. Huh? What'd you say?
She a hoe in a bad way.
She's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
I can't wait till enough backlash comes out that she gets fired or whatever, and she starts blaming it on Trump. I'll be hilarious.
Just need to have them.
You should come to my town to support the local Mexican restaurant owners' kids. Motherfuckers are a bunch of chomos. All right, let's take a look at a couple things here.
Breaking news out of Capitol Hill. The Senate has voted to approve a spending package that could avert a lengthy partial government shutdown. As part of this deal, senators stripped out new Homeland Security funding so that Democrats in the White House could keep talking about potential changes to ICE and Border Patrol. NBC's Julie Sirkin is on Capitol Hill. Julie, can you give us here what helped this detail and this deal get over the finish line?
Well, I think the White House directly engaging with Senate Democrats, with House Democrats, certainly helped break up this package in a way that allowed them to fund the government, most of the government, I should say, and leave out and separate the Department of Homeland Security funding. And it is because Democrats raised reforms and concerns with the way that ICE officers have been operating and Border Patrol agents have been operating in cities around the country. Most notably, of course, has reached a fever pitch after the death of Alex Preddy last weekend. It is why Democrats came up with a set of reforms that they're calling common sense, and that's really where this showdown goes next. Now, there will be a partial government shutdown, at least for this weekend. It's because the House isn't here. It's empty behind me. You can hear the echoes in the halls, and it is because the House is on recess this week. Speaker Johnson, though, told Republicans on a conference call today, Tom, that he intends to store his body cameras on, the other to end roving patrols, to have more coordination, you see it there, with state and local law enforcement, and to enforce accountability. Democrats think they have the upper hand here because they think the American people are on their side. Again, notable, the White House worked with them on this. We'll see if they can get that across the finish line over the next 2 weeks. Tom?
So, since you spend your days up there, let me ask you, I don't want to blind...
It's bad.
What the hell happened?
It's weird.
F's in chat, man.
Smirt.
Yeah, what's going on with Kick?
Nice.
Oh, degraded functionality. Probably getting fucking DDoSed or something, who knows?
What does that mean?
My YouTube stream is alright. Dedicated denial of service. It's like when they flood a site with like lots and lots of requests and shit so that it gets overloaded and shut down.
Don't want that to happen to you. Oh, that's an old ass penny.
blindside you because I didn't email you in advance and say I may ask you. So let me just ask you. On the DHS funding, is DHS already funded for a certain period of time going forward?
They are. They passed a stopgap funding measure to continue
about to activate Liberty Prime.
They will
Nice.
reevaluate, of course, in 2 weeks what that means and how these reforms can take.
Do we know if we're getting... Wait. Because everyone's rumoring that they're going to drop a Fallout 3 remaster. After the Fallout Season 2 finale, or around the Fallout Season 2 finale, which is like any day now. Oh, I would play the fuck out of a Fallout 3 remaster.
Here to see it.
Fuck yeah. I love that game. That was my first Fallout game. I was in high school. My dad got it for me for my birthday. It's fucking awesome.
Into effect. Tom?
Ask Julie anything she'll know at Julie Sirkin on Capitol Hill. Thank you very much.
Better do it
Thank you for
again.
watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News.
Okay.
Let's hear from Don Lemon outside the courthouse in Los Angeles.
Can everybody hear me? Are you guys set? Everybody ready? So look, I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea what's going on because obviously I haven't seen anything. I have spent my entire career covering the news. I will not stop now. In fact, there is no more important time than right now, this very moment, for a free and independent media that shines a light on the truth and holds those in power accountable. Again, I will not stop now. I will not stop ever. Last night, the DOJ sent a team of
Yes.
federal agents to arrest me in
Solidarity barcode. Let's
for
fucking
something
go.
that I've been doing for the last 30 years, and that is covering the news. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects that work for me and for countless of other journalists who do what I do. I stand with all of them, and I will not be silenced. I look forward to my day in court. Thank you all.
Okay, first of all, we want to apologize for that gentleman behind Don Lemon wearing a T-shirt with a vulgarity on that.
Wait, what? I didn't even notice that. Hang on.
I look forward to
At least you're honest.
Constitution. Third the night count for no stop. I've spent the world. So look, I want to thank everybody for their support. It truly means the world to me. I have no idea.
Oh,
what's
they
going
probably.
on.
Oh, I think it said "fuck ICE." They probably cut it off.
Vulgarity on
Nice.
that. We could not control the framing of the shot. However, want to take you right now to Ms. Damaris for some interpretation of what we just heard. Don Lemon out on a personal recognizance bond. Misty, what does that mean?
That means that he's being released without any restrictions relating to posting bond or bail. He will be able to travel in the domestic United States. He will have to ask permission to leave the country, but he will not be held or imprisoned while he is awaiting the legal process.
And just to remind the audience, if you just tuned in, we talked about this a few minutes ago, but this is a really complicated First Amendment case, right? You've got freedom of religion and the right to worship, and you've got freedom of the press.
Right. The charge relates to the deprivation of civil rights and the freedom of expression. So essentially what the charge says is that Don Lemon and other co-conspirators planned to interfere with the ability of churchgoers to participate in their religion by going into that church. Now, Don Lemon is asserting that he was a journalist at the time and therefore protected by the First Amendment to report on things that are of public interest. So
Yeah, that's what I thought. He's just there reporting, right? That's fucking so stupid.
this is going to be the showdown in court, and I would expect his lawyers to be levying a defense and challenging these charges right from the get-go.
Ms. Damaris, thank you very much.
We thank you for watching.
What the fuck? All right, what else we got? We'll wait until more of our folks are in here before we dive into the Epstein stuff.
Next.
The IndyCar thing in DC is real. Oh, God. Where? Oh, my God.
Unhinged. No fucks.
The fuck? What? You gotta give me this gross foot on the fucking page? Jesus.
Sorry to whoever has that gross foot.
Dude, the White House Twitter is such a fucking joke. It is so embarrassing that this is the official Twitter account of the White House. Are you fucking serious? That's where it's gonna be? They should do an Isle of Man TT style race, but around DC. My God, dude. Rock, how true is this? My dude, this is the White House account. What do you mean?
Claiming our holes one by one.
They're saying they signed an executive order. What do you mean, how true is this? It's the fucking White House account. The question is, can they do it? I don't know. Are they able to do that? Let me look it up. Never saw them before. Advertising bans, strict advertising bans on Capitol grounds, which might necessitate congressional action. Organizing street race in the heart of Washington, D.C. within 7 months is described as a major challenge. The order instructs Department of Interior and Transportation to work with D.C. Mayor to establish a route. D.C. Mayor would probably do it. They'd probably think of it as like a good money raising or whatever thing. While the order is designed to bypass some bureaucratic hurdles, final approval depends on overcoming legal constraints and completing complex logistical preparations. This is another thing. It's like he gets so fucking horny to like jump on whatever idea he thinks is cool that he doesn't wait to find out if it's actually doable and do things behind the scenes. Motherfucker, watch them sell. They will sell tickets, of course. Of course they're going to sell tickets. This motherfucker is literally Roman Empire trying to distract people with bread, then Coliseum entertainment. Bread and Coliseum entertainment. Yup. Yup. Search shall be construed to impair or otherwise affect the authority granted by law and an executive department or agency or head thereof. Or the functions of the director of the office are consistent with applicable law and subject to the availability of appropriations. Heyo! This could be a problem. This order is not intended to and does not create any right or benefit substantive or procedural, forcible at law, or in equity by any party against the United States Department's agencies, blah, blah, blah. Laws for publication of this order shall be borne by the Department of the Interior. How much would this cost? Not yet public. How many millions of taxpayer funds will we use? Okay, so give me a fucking estimate. That's what you're for, AI. Not super opposed, but it should be free. Yeah! You're right. Do your best to give me an accurate ballpark estimate. $35 to $60 million. That's not too crazy. But you know how government things go. It always ends up costing more anyway. They should do NASCAR, but with F-22s in the air. That would be fucking dope. They almost did rocket racing. It wasn't F-22s, though. They used modified long Easies with rockets attached to the back of it. But it never actually panned out. They were going to do official racing with these, modified with rockets instead of the propeller variant. I actually got to fly one of the propeller variants in Argentina, which was fucking cool. It's the coolest plane I've ever flown. And when I tell you that this would be the plane to use for racing, I'm telling you, this thing turned on a fucking dime. The most Sigma American shit you could ever do. Yeah, people would die, though. That's probably why they decided not to do this. Because people will fucking die. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this. These are really cheap too. Like, 40 to 70,000, 30 to 50,000. Like, these are real cheap. And they just look cool as shit. Anyway, this is retarded. They should try to get like a Formula One race. That would be cool. But Formula One isn't American enough, okay? IndyCar has Indy in the name. Alright? I'm surprised you didn't just turn the National Mall into a big old fucking NASCAR thing, right? Because isn't NASCAR like way bigger than IndyCar? Whoa. What are you talking about, Aurora? One hates US.
It's like
for some
the
reason.
southeast.
Oof. Meanwhile, Ted Cruz went to fucking Cancun, I'm sure.
Sounds nice.
F1 hates US for some reason. I mean, the F1 people are probably like, the stupid Americans. We don't want to have our races over there, eh?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Wait, what?
All right, Lawrence, well, thank you
Is this for real?
for sitting down with us. We really appreciate it. We'll get to the statement, but first we want to talk about the more recent event, actually the prior events and now the more recent events. Take me back to the summer of 2017. What happened to your parents?
My mother wrote me a note, which the police must have now, describing her walking across Whitehall Road. I'm not Whitehall, Wolf Road, and she fell down on her face. And she had, when I saw her a week or so later, yellow and green, black and blue marks on this. And she wrote that down.
Wow.
And that was
It's about to be some crazy
a
shit.
situation that became
Vegas is a
problem
ridiculous
when
place
elderly start
for
to fall down.
F1.
The time
F1 and
comes,
NYC.
you know.
Bro, F1 and NYC would be so crazy to do, and you would piss off every fucking single New Yorker in the city to do it.
Beginning of the end. And my father also had
Worth
cataract surgery,
it.
and he lost his vision.
It would be cool as fuck.
Double
Like,
vision, so he couldn't.
F1 in Manhattan, like driving between all the skyscrapers and shit. But like, if a crash happens, bro, you could potentially be like damaging historic buildings, you know?
Be a he couldn't drive, so they were losing their independence and so forth. And my mother had a brother who
Almost
had,
no place for crowd, honestly. Although, you know what? I've been to the Macy's Day Parade before. There's decent crowd on the sides of the roads, and you could have them like in the cross streets, you know?
Alzheimer's.
They're pretty wide.
My father had a sister who had Alzheimer's. They were both in nursing homes. My mother had a second sister who also had Alzheimer's. And,
Careful over there.
you know, they put you in a bed. They rip your teeth out to try to keep you, you know, the whole 9 yards. So this is in the back of my mind.
So you didn't want to see them deteriorate and go through that. Did you?
And I'll mention, you know, the police know about my sister and having to see my sister die from cancer. I was 16, she was 14. Go through 9 months or so of, you know, the agony of cancer patients.
So did you kill your parents to, as a mercy killing to put them out of their misery? You can be honest with us.
I know. I'll leave that for the statement that I put on your website.
The
But
statement doesn't mention that.
I know,
The statement
I
does
know.
not mention that.
Right.
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried them in the backyard of that house in Albany.
How dare you?
At what point did they become deceased?
I need to see a calendar to
Hmm.
sometime August 2017.
And did they die at your hand? That's the question.
Right. I'll have to leave it for that statement.
But that's not in the statement. And I think
Right.
it's important for people to know what happened to your parents.
Right.
They were your parents. You loved them. They were deteriorating. What did you do?
I will.
Don't tell me you're going to leave it to the statement, because it's
Well,
not in the statement.
I know.
What did you do to your parents?
My goal is for the American people to recognize that there's 40 million boomers. They're all going to go through the same kind of problems. It affects all of us. And we need to widen up the law so that people can deal with these kind of problems in a humane way, in whatever way that people can deal with. And I did my duty to my parents.
So you ended their lives.
I won't.
You're
admit it.
saying that without actually saying that word. I want to hear you say that word. You
Yes.
ended their lives
I have to
give them mercy, you're saying.
I have to plead my Fifth Amendment rights until I can disclose it with my statement there.
Did you have any concern that whatever you did was wrong?
I would never have done such a thing if I ever did it, knowing it's wrong.
So you believe what you did was right. You believe taking your parents' lives. What?
Okay, that wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be. I thought he murdered them, not euthanized them. It sounds like he was trying to euthanize them. The murder would have been more scandalous. Alright. Let's see. What else do we want to look at? I really want to get into the Epstein stuff. But I don't want to do it before everybody's here, because there's some crazy, crazy shit that's in this. Who are you sending me right now? Minecraft parodies? Okay.
Did you see the other one?
Yeah, I did. That looked funny.
Yeah,
I'll check it out later. Yeah.
I want to watch it too.
Yeah. See about this. This looks interesting.
Turn to the topic my colleagues have been talking about, which is Alex Preddy, your employee, the ICU nurse who was killed over the weekend by Border Patrol. You said in your opening statement that you weren't able to engage on this topic, but you did engage on this topic. It took you 30 hours to put something out on Twitter about his death. First, you put out something with penguins in Greenland, but then you put out a statement that said, quote, "Such tragedies are unfortunately happening in Minnesota because state and local officials' refusal to cooperate with the federal government to enforce the law and deport dangerous illegal criminals." Was Alex Preddy's death the result of the mayor of Minneapolis or the governor of Minnesota?
Alex Preddy's death was a tragedy, as I've stated, and I will continue to stand by that statement.
Okay, but you put it out under official VA Twitter, right? This wasn't like your personal opinion. You weighed in and said why he died. And let me just ask, right? He was your employee. You know that people who work for the VA can't just walk in. They're vetted. They're properly vetted. We had other cabinet officials call him a domestic terrorist and an assassin. Based on your access to the information you have in the VA and in front of 460,000 VA employees, was this man, in your estimation, a domestic terrorist or an assassin?
What I have said about this as being a tragedy, I will continue to say, and I'm not going to make a characterization on something someone else said.
It's not. You said that it was the result of local officials blocking their access. You said it. It's not someone else. So if you can't
I made
say
no characterization about Mr. Preddy.
you said that his death was the result of, quote, state and local officials' refusal to cooperate with the federal government. Not my words, yours. So you are prejudicing this investigation. You are weighing in on what you think happened. And I just think in front of the employees who have been through a lot this year, that you should at least be able to say to his family that he's not a domestic terrorist or an assassin, right? People have eyes. They see the video there. And I think we owe him more than that. But to say that you can't engage on it, to say that now that Donald Trump has told the cabinet that now it's okay to have an independent investigation, and all, Secretary Noem and Stephen Miller have to walk back what they've said about this poor man in front of his family. Now I think you can admit that you joined them in prejudicing the investigation of your own employee. And now, can I ask, I understand there was some sort of memorial event yesterday that was held at the VA in Minnesota. Can you say clearly that neither you nor your senior officials tried to stop that memorial from happening?
We did not.
Okay, because there's an email circulating online right now that says that they were told not to have the memorial and the people went ahead anyways. So I hope that when this email comes out, there's not any of you sitting at this table who had anything to do with the fact that they wouldn't be able to celebrate the life of a man who was killed. Can you speak to that?
I can. I've seen the email. That email did not originate from my office or anybody sitting at this table's office. That came from a leadership official in Minneapolis.
And so he just woke up, the man who, or man or woman, I don't know, who employed this man, who's dealing with all kinds of fallout and, terrible feeling when people lose that person just woke up and just decided to say that someone else, the higher ups, told her not to have this memorial. She just made that up?
I don't know that she made it up, but I can't tell you what her perception of anything was. But what I can say is that we have been supportive in an appropriate time to be able to have a period for their employees to memorialize Alex Preddy. And they did that yesterday with almost 400 people.
Well, I hope
at noon, which was scheduled.
You see how it takes a suspension of disbelief to believe that the woman who is the supervisor of this poor man said that higher-ups told her that she couldn't have a memorial. It seems a little hard to believe, but I yield my time. I'm done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I begin my questions, people across America are really reeling from the horrifying murder of Alex Preddy by federal agents. And as we all know, Alex Preddy was an ICU nurse at the Minneapolis VA Medical Center. He is remembered by colleagues and friends as a calm presence amid the chaos of the hospital, someone who cared deeply for the veterans he served. He was remembered as a mentor, a caretaker, and someone who wanted to make a difference in the world. The father of one veteran Mr. Preddy cared for until the end described him as the sweetest person you can imagine. Alex Preddy spent his last minutes trying to help a woman. She was a bystander who was being assaulted by federal agents. He was killed by those federal agents moments later. Immediately after he was killed, the Trump administration began spreading sickening lies about him. They lied about who he was, what he was holding, what he was doing in the moments before his death. Trump and the miserable folks at the DHS showed right away they didn't care about getting the facts, any facts. They told Americans not to believe what we all saw and heard with our own eyes and ears. We all saw an American shot and killed by federal agents in broad daylight. Mr. Secretary, your initial response to a VA nurse being killed by federal agents was to blame it on Minnesota officials. You didn't say a word about who Alex Preddy was or the incredible work that he did for veterans. You mentioned him today, but still didn't refer to that. That is certainly a choice. Words cannot describe how outraged I am and how outraged we all should be at the killing of Alex Preddy, who simply did not have to die, and at this administration's rush to spread lies about American citizens whose only crime was peacefully exercising their First Amendment rights. Joining ICE or Border Patrol doesn't give you a license to murder. So I want to reiterate to all of you that there must be an independent investigation and real accountability here. This can't continue, and I hope that we agree on that basic point and Republicans join us to work with us to make that happen. But Mr. Secretary, I wanted to ask you today, It is my understanding that Minneapolis VA employees have not been granted personal leave to mourn their colleague because they're subject to mandatory overtime due to staffing shortages. Are you allowing any of the employees there to get personal help, to take any time off, or to offer them your support as they go through a very trying time of losing a very close colleague?
Thank you, Senator. Yes, we are providing all that we can through the Minneapolis VA to those workers, and I will have Greg Goins, who's been in contact with them, discuss that.
Drop a fucking peanut.
Not only did we have conversations the day that this actually occurred, it also has happened every day since it's occurred. All the resources that we offer our federal employees when times like this occur, these tragedies occur, they're offered employee assistance programs, they're offered whole health employee assistance programs, they're also offered things through community partners if necessary. If anybody comes forward to want to take leave because of a coworker, a close coworker, we always have empathy in allowing them to do so. In fact, the very first contact that was made in that medical center was with ICU coworkers. And if I can just add, and I apologize, they just had a memorial service for Alex Preddy yesterday at noon where over 300 employees attended and were able to memorialize and remember him.
Well, Mr. Secretary, I think it's important your words to those employees personally be taken care of. So let me move on. I want to move to a really important discussion as well, because in late December, not long ago, the Trump administration quietly implemented a near total abortion ban at the VA. VA's final rule prevents the more than 460,000 women veterans of reproductive age, over half of whom live in states with abortion bans, from receiving abortion care at the VA now. VA providers are not even allowed to discuss abortion as an option with veteran patients. Secretary Collins, a simple question. If a veteran has been raped, is she able to get abortion care at the VA under the current policy, yes or no?
Senator Murray, you know that the VA was, up until 22, was not doing any abortions at all. This was a decision by the previous administration to bend the law, to go back something that had been over generations of both Democrat and Republican administrations. The VA was not in the issue of abortion. That is my simple question. That's my simple answer.
No, a simple question. If you are raped, can you get abortion
There are
care?
no abortions to be done at the VA medical centers except the ones that are the life threatening of a mother. That has been very clear, and that was the process under Obama.
Mr.
It was
Secretary,
under Bush
my
and
time
Clinton,
is
and
out.
it
I
was.
just want everyone to know that under this VA final rule, no exceptions for rape or for incest, and I find that outrageous. Thank you.
Senator, I want it to be known to everyone listening that up until October or till 22, when Secretary McDonough changed what was the high precedent and law of this country, there were no abortions of any kind for any excuse or any reason done
And he
in a VA medical
rightfully
center.
corrected that to make sure that if someone was raped or a victim of incest, they could get health care.
I would just
Thank you,
choose
Mr.
to, we probably see it differently.
Boy. Oh boy. All right. Well, I think we waited long enough. Tried to wait for people to come in. People are slow tonight. So we will start on the Epstein stuff. Every one of these yellow pieces contains a report where Trump is mentioned. There's so much. It's kind of hard to just say like all of it is bullshit, but you know, let's see. So, these are all complaints. Start with the first one. Reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred. Oh, that's an unredacted name. And the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. Friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. Friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Spoke with caller who identified blank as friend. Lead was sent to Washington office to conduct interview. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, caller reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14... Jesus Christ, this is graphic. A 14-year-old girl named blank. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was a victim. Oh, this is a different complaint. Okay, so that's one complaint. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California between 95 and 96. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. Complainant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Complainant reported being threatened by Trump's then head of security that if she ever talked of what went on there, who she saw she would, quote, end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. Complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research shows 3 separate redacted. So take this complaint with a grain of salt, I guess. Complainant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties, dealing with cartels, and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. Okay. Complainant reported his ex-girlfriends, blank, were victims of Epstein's. One was murdered while working as a limousine driver. Complainant recalled picking up Donald Trump in 1995 to take him to Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. During that ride, complainant recalled some of the things Trump spoke about on a cell phone were very concerning and described being, quote, a few seconds from pulling the limousine over on the median, within a few seconds of pulling him out of the car and hurting him due to some of the things he was saying. Complainant noted Trump repeatedly stated the name Jeffrey while on the phone. One of complainant's ex-girlfriends, blank, told complainant Trump raped her, as did Epstein. Voicemail left, no response. Caller is talking about crimes committed against her. She claims to be a prisoner. She references Lisa Marie Presley, the British royal family, President Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein. No contact made, lives in Australia. Called SDNY hotline, not NTalk. What's up, Scarecrow? We're going through some fucked up shit. This is in the Epstein files that dropped today. Complainant followed up. Complainant followed up after a call with NYPD officer regarding her previous tip, reporting that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Complainant also reported there were high-profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her to perform sex acts with him, and alleged Trump was present when her uncle murdered her newborn child. No contact made. Caller was taken by boat to Epstein's Island. Caller said it was complicated and involved Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Caller became a school counselor and had a meeting with the school principal, Linda Kitts, and a police officer where the caller was informed there were pictures of herself with Epstein. Caller reported the school was mad at her for not being a Trump person and that the school wanted her to testify and say things against Andrew Cuomo. The FBI and Donald Trump were on the phone during the meeting. Caller believes the FBI has baby pictures of her with Epstein. No contact made. Previous tips indicated blank had called in and said she had chemically induced amnesia and struggled with knowing what was a dream and reality. Okay. Caller reported in 1987 a friend, victim 1, was out drinking and ended up at Trump Plaza. I don't want to highlight. Ended up at Trump Plaza. Victim 1 saw Donald Trump and wanted to meet him. An unknown man approached her and offered to introduce her to Trump. The unknown man gave Victim 1 a drink, and Victim 1 woke up naked and sore with $300 on the bed. Victim 1 didn't remember how she got to the room. She remembered seeing a flash of Trump's face. Victim 1 called the caller and told her she thought she had been raped. Victim 1 did not go to a hospital to have a rape kit performed because she didn't think anyone would believe her, especially because she was drunk. Victim 1's husband's business had problems with suppliers. Victim 1 believed Trump was behind it. Victim 1 also started dating a lawyer, identifiers unknown, who was married. Victim 1 had a fight with her lawyer boyfriend and went to a bar. Victim 1 left a bar with a man who no one in the bar recognized but who seemed familiar with Victim 1. Victim 1 was never seen again. A few years ago, remains were discovered that matched the description of what Victim 1 was wearing when she went missing. DNA tests at the time were inconclusive. No contact made. Victim identified as deceased, and complainant did not have confirmed information. Yikes. In 2004 or 2005, Sir Ivan Wilczek hosted a party where Jeffrey Epstein, Sammy Sosa, and Donald Trump were in attendance. Patti LaBelle's PR agent stood at the door. At the party, caller met an individual. Well, these are complaints, technically. None of this is hard evidence, Scarecrow. So, if any of it's true, it is damning, but, anybody on the other side who wants to protect Trump could easily say, well, this is just people saying whatever. You can say whatever. At the party, caller met an individual who was approximately 18 to 23 years of age, who was brought from Oklahoma for a modeling job, but then sold to a man in France. Several women were being auctioned, and a woman possibly known as Colette LNU was the madam. A couple of years later, caller saw Colette at the Cheetah Club in New York, New York. She told one of Santos' friends that Jamie Foxx was interested in spending a night with her and that he could pay her a lot of money. Phone number provided was bad, could not identify a valid number. Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. This next sentence is really difficult to read. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. The guests were elder men and included Elon Musk, Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric. Elder men and included Elon Musk. Don Jr., Ivanka, and Eric were there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there. Attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald J. Trump raped me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. No contact information provided. Is this a repeat? Yeah. Jesus Christ, dude. This is fucking insane. Okay, let's see. I heard I had some contradictory evidence, and it seemed like the allegation was made in 1995. The evidence against was that Trump didn't own Mar-a-Lago until 2002. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. That was the wrong page. None of the yellow ones apparently said that. None of the yellow ones are at Mar-a-Lago. He bought Mar-a-Lago in '85. Barcode. Were you listening while I read through those, dude? That was really difficult to read. That was tough to fucking read, man. That last one was really fucked. That was the one you were talking about. I mean, they're all really fucked. For being honest. Good God, man. I'm trying to research more about this document. There's news about it. Justice Department temporarily removes document related to them. Yeah, this is the one that's been removed. This is the file that's been removed. After the fact. So again, these are complaints. None of these, as it seems, were fully investigated. But if any of these are true, they're all fucked. If even one of them is true, it's fucked. Now, to be clear, these are all alleged. I've met a lot of crazy, schizophrenic fucking people who make things up in their head. Donald Trump's a very famous person. It could be that all of these were fucking crazy people. But like I said, if even one of them is true, it's completely fucked. Wait, which one, Barcode? I mean, that makes sense. Like, again, Trump is completely, like, incompetent. the Trump presidency allows basically state-sanctioned Jews by Putin to keep tabs on all of the Russo-Jewish oligarchs. On the day Trump was elected president, Ivanka and Jared were at the gravesite of Rabbi Shearson, the most powerful rabbi in the Chabad network. Jared didn't disclose his stake in Cadre because of its ties to the Russian state. CHS believed this is the real Russian collusion story. Kushner has moved a lot of Russian investment money around. The FBI should investigate Kushner's family, charities to corruption, money laundering. Chabad routinely uses charities to launder money. Yeah. Chabad is pretty fundamentalist. That's crazy. Here we go. Brace yourselves. Here come all of the Jews control everything reports. This was under his own presidency. This is while he was still president. Man, this is fucking crazy. This is some of the craziest shit. And the fact that they pulled it back. They pulled this document back. And like, there's not much news about it either. They still got the good stuff. What do you mean? They're still holding the good stuff back, you mean? Mm-hmm. Let's see what CNN... all of this is disgusting stuff. There isn't anything good about... Well, yes, that's not really an argument. We all agree. I think we see an Iran strike this weekend. Yeah. Okay. Here it is. This is interesting. What is Epstein? I think your friend is mentally ill. Epstein responded that the person is not my friend, and I've told you that before. Neither referenced Trump by name. They went on to discuss his foreign policy actions and whether, as Summer said, he was better than Hillary. Epstein defended his record, citing work with Israel and India. An earlier release of documents show that Epstein and Summers corresponded for years after Epstein's initial conviction. Deeply ashamed. Blah, blah, blah. Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie want the unredacted files. Oh boy. Deemed outrageous. What they said was lack of transparency and botched redactions. Yep. Huh. No, Bill Gates. Well, I'm sure he installed computer chips in all of them too. Well, it was transparency, but it actually does is expose survivors. Once again, survivors are having their names and identifying information exposed, while the men who abused us remain hidden and protected. That is outrageous, the group wrote. As survivors, we should never be the ones named, scrutinized, and re-traumatized while Epstein's enablers continue to benefit from secrecy. This is a betrayal of the very people this process is supposed to serve. Multiple survivors told CNN through Friday that they saw examples of their own or other victims' names and information in the files, including those of Jane Doe's, that have been left unredacted. The statement goes on to say that, yeah, and there were like a couple in that file, too. There were a couple names that were there. The statement goes on to say, the fact that the world still does not have the full truth about who helped to enable and shield Epstein, participated in his exploitation, was unacceptable. The Justice Department cannot claim it is finished releasing files until every legally required document is released and every abuser and enabler is fully exposed, they said. In a new letter Friday, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche made clear that they believe the DOJ had fulfilled its obligations under the Epstein Files Transparency Act to release all the Epstein-related documents that they could. Blanche said in a press conference Friday morning that the agency prioritizes victims' privacy and well-being. Still, he added, mistakes are inevitable, and he encouraged anyone who sees problems to reach out to a DOJ email tip sheet. I mean, in the past, there hasn't been this sort of a pattern of like widespread mistakes and redactions, right? So, screen to recruit underage girls, use them for sexual massages. She answers, I don't know what you're talking about.
What's up, buddy?
As a result of, hang on, I'm just reading this. A result of 2015 defamation case brought by Virginia Giuffre, who died by suicide last year. Giuffre, however you say it, claimed Epstein sexually abused her while she was underage and that Maxwell aided in the abuse. His written transcripts of the deposition were publicly released. Oh boy, what's good, bud?
What's good, buddy? I just got off of work, man. It's been a long day. I've been catching clips of some of this all day, but I was hearing some things. I don't know if you had covered any of this, but I had heard that they were like legit doxing like some of the victims, like legit giving addresses and all sorts of like personal information to the victims. I don't know if you've covered any of that in the files yet. I'm just now tuning in. I got worked fucking hard as hell today at work, but
I'm not seeing anything in the news.
Well, and I also heard that there was a few of the files that they deleted immediately off social media, but it wasn't fast enough, and they knew that the cat was out of the bag, so they immediately reposted some of these files back into into the document. And
well,
shit.
this one with all the crazy shit I was just reading was clawed back after the release.
Ah, okay. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense from what I heard. Yeah.
No, I mean, what they're saying, what the victims are saying is that some of their names have been exposed, but like the men involved.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Hidden.
I heard that. Yep, I heard that they redacted all of the criminals in the situation, but they gave out so much information about the girls.
Yep.
Really fucked up. Really fucked up. And I heard you say it also, as soon as I jumped in, you're like, this is all allegations, man. Anybody can say anything. You know, anybody can file a report about anything. Mm-hmm. So it is all allegations, but I would argue if even 10% of this is true, it is fucking terrible shit.
I said if even one of these reports is true,
it's
completely fucked. If even one of them is true. Every single one of these was insane.
I mean, what's weird as fuck about this is I don't think it's going to make a single shred of difference to the Republican base, unfortunately.
I don't know. I think right now is the time for it because a lot of people are shaken by the Alex Preddy thing.
Right. Yep. Get that.
And if you have a lot of these things happening at once, that starts to break the facade. If you have enough time between them, right, people can build up the cognitive barriers in their mind again. But if you keep pounding
Exactly
at it,
like what
it
we were
gets
talking
harder.
about.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking about the other day when it was like, it took a couple days for them to find out how they were going to spin the Alex Preddy thing.
No.
And I think this is going to be another one of those things. It's going to be like, there will be some sort of justification for this in mainstream media. And I really don't want to like discredit the Republican base, because we have seen a lot of Republicans, diehard Republicans, walk away from the party right now. You know,
like
we have seen a lot of that.
Republicans, not MAGA.
Yeah. And I mean, even some MAGA, I would argue Marjorie Taylor Greene is like the poster woman for MAGA before the Epstein files, right?
But, you know, Donald Trump, quote unquote, betrayed her in her Senate run when she wanted to run for Senate. So now she don't like him no more.
I mean, I guess the only credit I ever gave her was that she said that she was going to fight for the Epstein victims, and she did.
She did.
It was after the Senate debacle, but she did stand firm on that. And she was true MAGA. Like, until this new age of MAGA that we're starting to see right now, where it's like total fucking unhinged graper nonsense, absolute Nazi nonsense. Marjorie Taylor Greene was kind of the fucking craziest one of the bunch, right? So even her walking away based on this, I gave her a smidge, like a very small gift of confidence, because she stood up for the Epstein files. But still, I mean, I think we can even see some strong MAGA walk away because of this, but I just don't think it's going to really affect what the larger community is still so focused on deporting illegal immigrants. And now they're starting to kind of wind back how they want to do it. Before it was like mass deportations by any means necessary, almost like fucking, almost like Malcolm X, almost like real by any means necessary, deport it by any means necessary, right? And now they're starting to walk that back. So, I mean, I guess it could be damning enough to kind of walk some of the support for the party back, but I don't know. I think there's still going to be a strong community within the MAGA party that's not going to care about
Trump
this at
has
all.
a cult of personality. There's always going to be a group of people who are going to follow him to the ends of the earth, because it's not it's not about principles. It's about, this is our guy and we love him. He makes us feel good, right? So there's always going to be that group of people. But there are people who aren't like that, and those people are going to little by little, pull away if stuff like this keeps happening. And, if we're looking at the kinds of margins that are happening in elections nowadays, all we need is like a couple percentage points.
Right. And I think like some of my thought behind this is probably just like common sense shit. Like, at the same time, they're slow trickling all this information out to us, which is giving enough time in between for the supporters to look at us and say that we're unhinged, right? Like, I've been spending most of my day watching Hutch and Pisco and watching Hutch's live stream and seeing, it's really getting sad what Pisco's becoming, to be honest. It's really kind of fucked up, but I think it's given enough time to where they have gotten enough excuses to say the left is still worse. Bless you.
Thank you.
I think there's enough time to still say, oh, the left is still worse. They're still tanky communists that want to kill police officers, right? And I think that's what they're focused on right now. And it's this slow trickle of information that we're getting off these Epstein files. It's kind of like desensitized a lot of the MAGA base to how fucking terrible this shit is. Like, we went from seeing all the Republicans say release the Epstein files right now to, I saw a margin, I would say probably 30 to 40% of MAGA start saying, oh, well, fuck the Epstein files. What do you care about that for, bro? And now it's, especially with the shit that's going on the left, with this divide between libs and tankies, they're using social
social discontent to kind of ease into the fact that they kind of just don't care about the Epstein files. We've seen a ton of these Republicans say, I don't care. I don't care about why are you still worried about the files?
Why are you
right?
still thinking about that? Meanwhile, under Biden's presidency, it's like, you're protecting pedophiles.
Yep.
By the way, I just sneezed, and whenever I sneeze on stream, I always think of this. Watch this clip. This is one of the funniest things I've seen in my life, and I love this moment. I'm just gonna play it right now. Just have a watch here, okay?
Character things. Listen, thank you that I got here.
Fucking classic. So amazing. Dude blessed himself and then thanked himself. Check rate or what? Oh. I don't know if you're trying to talk, Scarecrow, but I can't hear you. Nope, can't hear you. Anyway, yeah. Classic moment. Quentin Williams blesses himself and thanks himself after he sneezes one more time.
Different character things. Listen, thank you that I got here. So good.
So good. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Scarecrow. I can't hear you. But anyway. So yeah. Hopefully news organizations jump onto this and don't see the immediate like pulling back of this as like, oh, maybe we shouldn't talk about it. Fucking talk about it. Make the White House explain this. Fucking hold their feet to the fire. I'm sure there's a lot of complaints that were deeply investigated too, that we just don't know about. With his old friend. His old friend, Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein. Fucking hell, man. This was an interesting clip from Josiah. We'll just have a watch of this.
Liberal Fox News host and friend of the show, Jessica Tarlov, triggered her MAGA.
I don't want to watch like the whole fucking Fox thing because fuck them, but the Five on Fox once again showing like how fucking despicable they are. Especially fucking Greg Gutfeld and Jesse Waters, dude. Those two guys are like some of the most awful human beings.
Posts into a full-fledged meltdown in an exceptionally heated debate about the second murder of an American citizen in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the hands of the Trump administration.
Oh. My bad. I had an issue going on with my phone. I had to restart.
That shit was funny though, right?
Bro, I could not stop. Like,
bless you. Thank
classic. You. Thank you. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. My mom might have smacked me if I did that when I was a kid. She might have actually smacked me.
At some point, I want to get that soundbite. Man, I need more boosts in Discord so I can have more sound bites. But wait, what the fuck was I gonna look up? Oh, I forgot.
You were talking about Brian Tyler Cohen,
Josiah, the Five, Jesse Waters, and Greg Gutfeld being awful human beings. And then I was gonna look something up, but I fucking forgot. Yeah, whatever. It'll come to me.
And her co-hosts were predictably disgusting in their sycophantic bootlicking responses and defenses of Trump. But before we unpack all that, if you end up liking
crazy, man.
All right,
I
here,
knew
watch
that earlier today, Donald Trump effectively waved the white flag of surrender. He acknowledged that at some point immigration authorities will be leaving Minneapolis. He has dispatched Tom Homan, the border czar, to serve as his special envoy in Minneapolis, sidelining Kristi Noem. It's been reported that Gregory Bovino The Border Patrol head honcho
He's
has been
been
sent out of
demoted.
Minneapolis. So Homan is in, Bavino is out. The polling is atrocious. Multiple Fox News hosts, including MAGA Fox News hosts, have condemned the Trump administration's response. It's a total shit show. So you would think that Jessica's 4 right-wing co-hosts would be a bit more humble, a bit more cautious, a bit less acerbic, and for the most part, that's not the case. We're going to start here with Jesse Waters, perhaps the most repulsive of the MAGA 4.
The guy who brings a loaded firearm concealed into a dangerous
Here we go.
fugitive
Here we go.
operation is crazy. You do not bring a loaded gun and start violently and physically resisting and obstructing
What?
a manhunt.
What?
Holy shit.
Anybody who knows
Jesse Waters.
Hold on.
Jesse Waters is such a disgusting piece of shit, and he never misses an opportunity to prove it over and over and over again. Anytime he has the slightest opportunity to show the world how much of a piece of shit is, he jumps at the opportunity to take. He just jumps at it. He can't wait. He's giddy.
That Second Amendment has to be the most circumstantial fucking amendment in the Constitution
Straight
as
up.
far as the right goes.
When
Legit.
some guy is
This is
confronting you
crazy.
as federal
ridiculous.
enforcement, you say, "Here are my hands. I have a loaded weapon on me," and you wait for further instruction. You do
Almost
not
worse than Tucker,
actively,
yeah.
physically resist.
Tucker's just lost his fucking mind. Like he's completely gone. He's lost it in the brain. Yeah. Were you here? Were you listening when I read through this document? Were you here for that? Oh, I know what I was looking up. I was looking up the Kick server status.
I think Tucker drank the Kanye West Kool-Aid, man.
That's
Like,
what I
he
was
went
going to
totally
say.
off
Yeah.
the fucking
All
deep
right,
end.
it's still fucked up.
Totally off the deep end.
Partial outrage, outreach, partial outage for platform and other. Okay, let's look that up. Yeah, what the hell? My viewers just like dipped like crazy.
Am I tripping, or did you get a new dope ass fucking like galaxy light behind you?
Oh yeah, it's like aurora lighting.
I'm digging it. That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
it's pretty sweet.
It's awesome.
Now you watch the video,
That's the
and
first
it's
time I've
very,
seen it.
very chaotic. It may have looked like they might have disarmed this guy
Fuck, man.
during the
We got a
scuffle.
lot of fun shit to siphon through,
Might
man.
have.
3 million documents.
They
I
might
think
have
that
disarmed
nobody's
him.
actually going to dissect this. For the
He's a
next,
lying
week and a
sack of
half.
shit.
Yep.
Morally
You know?
inferior,
All right,
can't
hang
win a
on,
fucking
though.
debate.
Let's watch-
a lying
keep
sack
watching
of
this real
shit.
quick.
We've seen. I don't even need to pull up the clip because it's been in every video I put out for all intents and purposes for the past 48 hours. He was disarmed. Might have been disarmed. Might have.
Whistles blow and you can't hear anything. You hear gun, 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 gun. You know, the guy, anytime guy says gun, 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 and the subject pulls his arm back, you don't know if he's reaching, so obviously they're going to be doing a big investigation.
We've seen the video. I will remind you. He was a lawful gun owner. The gun he had was lawfully obtained. It was holstered in a small of back gun holster on his waist. He had his cell phone in his hand, not his gun. There's no evidence that at any point he reached for his gun from start to finish. A woman nearby was violently shoved by a Border Patrol agent. Alex Preddy came to pick her up. He didn't shove the agent back. He didn't get in the agent's face. He went to help her up. He was pepper sprayed by the agent. Additional agents converged. They threw Alex Preddy to the ground. There were 7 of them. When he was thrown to the ground on his hands and knees, his back was arched over, exposed. One of the agents saw the gun in the waistband holster at the small of his back. He grabbed the gun from the holster, he being the agent, and ran off with it to put distance between Preddy and the agents and the gun. The agent who shot Preddy watched all of this happen. He wasn't at the front. He wasn't away. He was standing next to the agent who disarmed Preddy. He pulls out his gun and shoots Alex Preddy multiple times. We see the video. We've seen the video. We've done analyses on the video. The agent is looking at this all happening. Jesse Waters is lying.
And the back was
Now, with that
facing
in
the
mind,
opposite way.
let's pull up some of Jessica's response, because unfortunately I wish I could say that was the end of the disgusting response from her four MAGA co-hosts, but it is not.
The president was forced to make that decision because what happened to Alex Preddy, that he was murdered, was not divisive and was not partisan. It was clear as day. And there are video analyses up in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal have both done incredible reporting on this, that you can see clearly that an agent had taken his gun already. I think it's the one wearing the black coat. Then you have the guy with the gray coat. After the guy is shot, you already get 10 bullets in him, even though his hands were up. He had his phone in one hand, which you're allowed to do. You're allowed to video.
Yeah, he turned around when they yelled gun and immediately
over,
drew.
and then you hear another guy going, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" Well, shouldn't you know that before you kill somebody?
No.
It takes a long.
You shouldn't know that.
One of her co-hosts says, no, you should know that. You don't have to know. You don't have to know where you just do whatever you want, man. That's what she's up against.
It takes a lot.
No, you shouldn't.
It takes a
And
lot
thank God
to
you're not a police
unite
officer.
the NRA.
Thank God you're not a police officer, man. Just trying to imagine the number of deaths this guy would have, like, She's now become a friend, and so like when the disrespect, like it's just hard to watch sometimes. Like she's here outnumbered 4-1, and this is about a murder in broad daylight of an American citizen, and the disrespect that's levied her way by her co-host is staggering. Thank God you're not a cop. And thank God you're not a cop.
Should have seen the MC holster. And I don't know who yelled gun after he was disarmed, but that dude's an accessory to murder. Yeah.
Imagine
it was the dude who disarmed him. He was just saying, "I've got a gun," essentially, by saying it, but he said it in a way where it was like made them all freak out and shoot the guy.
Bigger body count that would ensue if that asshole.
Dude, I didn't want to disrupt the content at all, but about halfway through that, in my mind, I'm like, Jessica Tarlov is the biggest base chattist I've ever met in my life, and I am in love with her. Like, she has been doing this for so long. She has been sitting here getting bullied, berated on a panel for so long and just speaking facts.
Oh, she's a queen.
And not only facts. I swear to God, dude, like if I ever meet another woman that I want to take out and fucking, even give a little bit of my emotional time to, it would be Jessica Tarlov. That is my fucking, that's my woman crush Wednesday.
Absolute
right
queen. Absolute queen.
Yep.
And other major conservative forces in this country against the Trump administration and the way they're doing immigration enforcement. The First Amendment, the Second Amendment, and the Fourth Amendment have all been violated by the way that they are carrying this out. And people saw it clear as day, and that's why they responded this way. And the president, who I think most of the time has better instincts than Stephen Miller or Kristi Noem, could see this for what it was and knows that there has to be a change in course. But
Precisely. Think about who Donald Trump is. If Donald Trump wasn't absolutely certain that he was getting his ass kicked in the court of public opinion here, that this wasn't an abject, objective disaster for him, why would he be changing course? This is a guy who tends to double down even on issues that he is losing on. He's a guy who doubles down on the idea that the 2020 election was stolen. It's not like he is a stranger to doubling down on losing fights and propositions where he's dead wrong. But the only time Trump changes course to a more conciliatory direction is when he knows he's losing and he knows there's no way out. If Trump felt that he was justified in this, he would double down. Hell, Trump doubles down half the time when he knows he's not justified. But he is waving the white flag of surrender. And that is, again, just one Trump card, pun intended, that her MAGA co-host can't contend with. She should ask, why is Donald Trump doing what he's doing? If this shoot was justified, if the facts and the polling and the odds were in his favor, why is he doing this? And they would not have a good answer. But let's hear some more.
Noem could see this for what it was and knows that there has to be a change in course. But this rush to come out and say, again, like Renee Good, that he's a domestic terrorist.
But you're rushing, too. You've clearly arrived at a conclusion for an investigation.
Based on watching all of the video and the president...
Have you seen the body cam video? I was unaware you had the body cam.
You know what? It's going to exonerate all the agents. You're completely right. Stephen Miller...
We have learned that there was body cam
this is
footage,
just they're grasping at...
But as people
they're grasping so hard at every fucking straw they possibly can with zero foresight at all. Like, they're just like, oh, you see the body cam footage? Bro, neither have you. You have no fucking clue what that shows. And based on the videos, it doesn't look good. You're just assuming that the body cam footage is gonna be in their favor. Like, it's fucking stupid, dude. This is just retarded thinking.
And at the end of it, Jessica Charloff puts on the fucking verbal knuckle dusters. Like, she puts on the bloody knuckles at the end of that, and she's like, "Hold on, bitch. What are you saying right now?
Yep.
Like, let's get fucking real."
Yep.
Point it out. Think about who the Trump administration is. Think about who comprises it. If that body cam footage exonerated this agent and vindicated the Trump administration, that shit would be out already. That shit would be leaking and sent out everywhere. The Trump administration would be like, in the interest of full transparency, since there are so many cell phone videos out there with multiple angles, here's the body cam footage of the agents in question. They haven't done that because there's nothing the Trump administration has that can change this narrative, disprove the facts, and shift
I wonder
things
why we
in
haven't
the
seen
favor
it yet.
of Donald Trump. Nothing that vindicates the shoot at all. Kayleigh McEnany, the blonde there, she was a former Trump press secretary. Okay, she was like, Carolyn Levitt 1.0. And before I get to let's hear, I guess, I think it's this one. We're gonna skip to the second clip so I can address what Kayleigh McEnany just said, but you need to hear what she says here too.
Test that should be upheld and respected, and it is not being. They were not.
Did you call for an investigation after Renee Good? You did.
Yeah. Well, yeah. After.
So
actually,
are you calling for an investigation now, or are you just stating a conclusion? Because it seems like you've arrived at a conclusion before an investigation.
Oh my God, dude. No one's arrived at 100% a conclusion. But we're looking at what's going on and we're like, yo, this does not look fucking good. If you can show us other shit, fine. But like, as of right now, y'all are not providing the evidence needed to change minds on this. You're just giving weak ass fucking arguments with nothing to back them up.
Saying that Jesse said this
Well,
isn't
and the majority of the country looks at the Alex Petty murder worse than they look at the Renee Good murder. So yeah, of course.
Domestic terrorism
Of course, the only difference is we have no idea
I agree with you on that.
It was within, what, 12 hours after the Renee Good shooting that we knew who that cop was?
Kristi Noem came out and said,
dude, yeah. We just have nobody to answer for this at this point. We have 6 people that are just ghosts. They're just fucking Call of Duty ghosts, man.
Here, I want to dive in the rest of this though. Let's just get through this real quick.
Domestic terrorist. You are coming out and saying murderer. When you say murder, you are calling those 6 agents murderers before you have the facts. The responsible way to handle this is to say, one, it is a tragedy.
Excuse me, what you're about to do and say we need to wait for the investigation is literally the opposite of what the Department of Homeland Security fucking did, Kayleigh. Maybe you should say that to Kristi Noem. Maybe you should say wait for an investigation to Kristi fucking Noem.
Anytime a U.S. citizen dies. It is a tragedy that Renee Good died. It is a tragedy that Alex Petty died. Number 2, we call for an investigation because we don't arrive at conclusions. We don't call people domestic terrorists who were killed before investigations. Disagree with the administration
fucking
on that.
Retarded.
You're not Renee Good.
So too
But you did.
Trump.
But you did
And
call
Renee
people
Good.
domestic terrorists before the investigation.
Couple
What
of
the
things
fuck?
here. Again, this is how you know.
This
This is how you know the pro-Trump, pro-MAGA position is wrong here because McEnany tried to couch it. She tried to hit Jessica with it, but
we don't need that.
It's nuts.
Stephen Miller saying an assassin tried to murder federal agents, and this is your response. And J.D. Vance retweeting it says something about where this administration is and how they're considering it before and after the murder of Alex Petty. And this will go down in history as a turning point for this. Greg Bovino wouldn't be leaving tomorrow if an innocent person wasn't killed. And the double standards that are being employed for how you have to behave versus how these agents have to behave is mind-boggling to me. Kyle Rittenhouse was a conservative hero, right, for walking into a protest, actually brandishing a weapon. But this guy who had a legal permit to carry and already had his gun removed, to some people, I guess, is some sort of instigator when he was actually going to help a woman who had been pushed down and tear-gassed by ICE. We have the right to protest. That should be upheld and respected, and it is not being. They were not.
So with that said, I mean, there are other clips I want to play here. I just want to point out that this guy says he's a Second Amendment absolutist, but then says, well, Alex Preddy didn't have his permit on him. He reportedly didn't have his permit on him, and that's wrong.
How would they have known that when this happened? They didn't even know that. And if he didn't, then you check for the permit, fine. Then detain him if he doesn't, fine. But by the time when you killed him, you had no fucking idea whether he had a permit on him or not. No fucking clue. That doesn't even matter. I also didn't realize that not having your concealed carry permit on you was an automatic death sentence in the street. Nobody told me about that.
And also when you go through the
it's a $25
class,
ticket
you learn
in
very,
Minneapolis.
very quickly.
You get
It's
it
one of
expunged.
the first lessons that if you get pulled over with your firearm,
you present
immediately
it.
let law enforcement know. You present it. You let them know. They did not give this man a chance.
Nope.
They didn't give him a chance. This was a total impulsive situation. He had his whole focus was on that woman. We talked about this the other day, man. Like his last words were, "Are you okay?" Like they never asked him. And they probably shouldn't have had to have asked him if he had a gun, but he probably shouldn't have had to have just flat out walked on up to him and said, "Hey, man, I'm a CCW carrier and I have my firearm on me." He saw something happen. It was impulsive. It was fucked up. There's no justification for this shit.
This is how desperate these MAGA losers are, right here.
But what I don't see are the 10 minutes before that.
I mean, if they would have,
I call him an agitator. He showed up with a cell phone. He showed up in the middle of the street, in the middle of an operation. That's common sense. I don't care what your passions are. To carry a weapon on your person and to get in the middle of a police operation, whether you believe it or not, that is lawful. 100%. Another way it could have been prevented is if there was a police cordon from Minneapolis Police Department stopping people from like Alex Preddy from getting in the middle of the operation rather than holding a sign and speaking loudly and proudly from 100 feet away.
So again, he admits that what Alex Preddy...
In my state, I have no duty to tell a cop I'm armed unless they're searching me. I've always considered if it's easier to just tell them I'm not armed during traffic stops. I don't know. Let me look it up what the law is in California.
And also, to be fair, California is pretty strict. So in a state like where I'm at in Indiana, where everybody is allowed to conceal to carry, there is no conceal to carry, license required. Like, I can take my gun wherever I want right now in Indiana.
In California, there is no blanket state law requiring you to immediately disclose you have a firearm to an officer during a traffic stop, but it is required for CCW permit holders in many jurisdictions and highly recommended for safety. Okay. So
exactly.
It's local. It's more local. So what about Los Angeles?
Well, and also, Preddy wasn't being detained. He wasn't being held on the side of the road. There was no.
Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department CCW permittees must disclose this information upon demand. While not always legally required, disclosing that you are armed is generally recommended for safety. Yeah.
For shits and giggles, can you look up Minneapolis as well?
Okay.
I think it's probably a little bit more lax than LA as well. Like, I think that he had no need to give the cops that information without being detained. And he wasn't being detained. He just wasn't.
In Minnesota, including Minneapolis, you are not legally required to proactively inform a police officer that you have a firearm during a traffic stop unless they specifically ask.
And I think that even includes CCW, because in LA there was that clause about CCW holders where if you are a CCW holder, you are required to tell law enforcement when they approach. This man wasn't being detained. He's in a state where you don't have to tell them that you have a gun, just like Texas. I can assume that anybody walking up to me in Texas has a gun on their hip and they don't have to let me know. And Minnesota is a little bit more lax than LA, California, Illinois, right? So, I mean, there's even more merit to the fact that he really didn't have to disclose that information based on his own state and his own local law enforcement, right?
Barcode says, I just consider if it would ease the officer if I just told them I'm not armed. But I also don't want to say I'm not armed and end up getting searched. Law enforcement knows you're a permit holder based on your license plate. So when they search your license plate, it'll pop up that you're a permit holder, and they can ask, I guess, to see it at that point.
Exactly. And also, I mean, it's also not required for him to say that he's a VA nurse, but if he told them that it's a VA nurse, he's a VA nurse and a veteran, they probably wouldn't have saw the gun the same way. But that's not that has nothing to do with the circumstance at hand.
I
This
don't
guy
know,
was
man.
trying to
These ICE agents are like fucking goons. A lot of them. These people are retarded.
It's true. It's true. I'm just saying, like, this guy is a nurse. At
I
the
mean,
VA.
not the ones who have been there forever, and I guess some of them though, because some of them were the ones who killed him. But like for the most part, like a lot of these new ones are just fucking idiot, like crazy MAGA people who are like, yeah, I'm deport them, I'm agree.
And and we are seeing like a huge influx of ICE agents that are resigning at this point. And I think a lot of those guys are the ones that have been there for years, the guys that understand the philosophy behind, like, not even the philosophy behind it, but just like their duty. They understand their civic duty. They're obviously disgusted from the murders that are happening, but on top of it, these are the new MAGA ICE agents, right? These are, I think that's like the quote unquote Gestapo that we're talking about, are these new guys. Many of them are fucking Jan 6 riders, a lot of these guys are disgusted. I don't blanketly hate ICE. I watch a lot of these people in disgust walk away from the agency. But yeah, as soon as they walk away, we are seeing this influx of these Jan 6ers, these new guys that just want to fucking take brown people out, and they don't give a fuck who they got to walk through to get there.
Well,
and this is what happens. It's fucked up. It's so fucked up.
Anyway, that's that. What else we got? Chat, you got any recommendations? Anything you want me to look at?
I would also just say for Barcode, his last comment, law enforcement knows you're a permit holder based on your license plate. Alex Preddy was not in a vehicle, so they had no license plate to run. Right? So, I mean, I would assume that especially as a MAGA Republican, I would assume that everybody's a lawful gun owner, right? That's what they want. They want every American to be a lawful gun owner. So they didn't have a license plate to run, but I think if they would have gave him 2 seconds to pick this 75-year-old woman off the ground and not fucking swarmed him and beat the shit out of him, I think as a responsible CCW holder, I think he probably would have said, hey man, I'm trying to help this lady. I have a gun on my back, but they didn't give him that time. There was just no time. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a total hypothetical, but it is something that you're taught at the very beginning of
happens
CCW.
very quickly.
Right. And it's something that you're taught at the beginning of every CCW class. If you are holding a legal concealed firearm and the cops detain you or pull you over, that's the first thing you say. Hey man, I want no harm. I have a gun on my hip. This is legal. It's licensed to me. I have a legal permit to carry. They didn't give him the time to even express any of that.
Right.
It was just rip his gun out of his back pocket and fucking shoot him. That's what it was.
Hang on.
Dude, on the totally flip end of this, I got to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was a tough work day. Just got Arc Raiders today. I'm really stoked to play with you and Cinderella because I am getting my ass spanked in here. Love you, brother. I'm going to keep this show on in the background, but I'm definitely going to hop out of the Discord for a little bit.
All right.
And fuck Trump and the Epstein files. And allegedly he's
titanium. Oh, my heart. My heart.
Go for the NFC, brother. Just go for Seahawks, man. I'm an NFC boy through and through. It's the toughest fucking league in the NFL. Seahawks to take the dub.
I just
love you guys,
I hope
man.
they both lose. Love you, buddy. Leave me up.
Yep, for sure. Tomorrow
Appreciate
I'm gonna just message to you, man, and we should hit up some Arc Raiders, man. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Love you, buddy. Peace. So, did they just choose not to include Elon in the first Epstein file dump? I guess so. Oh, titanium. I'm driving a stake through my heart. I'm in so much pain. That was such a tough loss, man. That was so close. 4 points away from the Super Bowl. Ugh. Are you a Hawks fan or a Pats fan or what? Born and raised in Seattle. Hey, listen. I have two things to say. Number one, fuck you guys. I hate the Seahawks, obviously. I'm sure you hate the fucking Rams. Number two, amazing game. I mean, honestly, like, if we were going to lose to the fucking Seahawks, or should I say Sea Chickens, I'd want it to be like that. It was a really good game. Both teams played really, really well. And, you know, some frustrating moments. We made one, I think one really big mistake is the one that lost the game for us, that muffed punt. And that was it. Well, we were scared of you. We were the two best teams in the NFL, realistically. To me, the NFC Championship was the real Super Bowl, but you know what it is. You guys should beat the Patriots. I want both of y'all to lose because I hate both of y'all, but, you know, you guys should beat the Patriots. And then look at that. We have the same number of Super Bowls. Like, it was a sure thing against the Rams? Dude, the Rams and the Seahawks are the two best teams in the NFL. That's nuts. That's nuts that it was a sure thing. Like, in the regular season games, we beat you guys in the first one, and we should have won the second one. We just completely took our foot off the gas and started playing like we were just going to coast into a win and let you guys come back. It was a good year for you guys. Yeah, it was. It was a good year for you guys, too. It just as easily could have gone our way through the year. We just kind of fell apart a little bit towards the end of the season. Obviously, we need to, you know, we just got a new special teams coach. Hopefully that's going to be good. I hope we draft a couple cornerbacks. And I hope we get like a shutdown corner in the first round because we got 2 first-round draft picks. And then maybe like a young quarterback who will, you know, play for a year under Stafford before he retires or something, you know? Because other than that, our team looks amazing for the long term. We have such a young roster. Puka looks like he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the NFL for years to come. He's an absolute beast. I like JSN too, but JSN is quick and quirky, but he's small. I think he'll do well on like those routes, those long routes and stuff like that. I think Puka's just a massive beast. He's a blocker. He's a great route runner. He's got incredible hands. Like I think Puka's gonna dominate the wide receiver stats for the next few years. Like he was barely behind JSN in yards, and he basically missed 2 games. The better part of 2 games, like a game and 3 quarters. Yeah. True. Sorry. I I love football so much. You get me talking about football, I go down the rabbit hole. Shit. Damn, what a game, man. What an incredible game. I love football. Fuck! I hate saying there's always next year. I fucking hate it. But at least my Rams look very good for next year. It's going to be a tough season. We'll see you twice again next year, buddy, and we're coming for revenge. All right. What else we got going on today? We covered a lot of the Epstein... Hey, you too, buddy. You too. We covered a lot of the Epstein stuff already. We covered more of the Alex Preddy stuff. What else is going on that we want to take a look at, guys? Any suggestions from chat? All right. Barcode, what you got? Oh,
sanctuary
boy.
city policy to end. I want sanctuary city policy to end.
He got it out. It was a little tough, but he got it out. He did get it out. That's fucking funny. Right? Anything big in the news? What about in Slop World? Streamer Slop World. Anything to catch up on? Um, 100K on YouTube? Like live? Yeah, and he's like going to YouTube now because Twitch gave him a suspension. Yeah. For saying Zionist pigs. It's about fucking time Twitch finally stepped up. Took him long enough. YouTube will probably let him say whatever he wants. We'll see how long they let it go for, though. Man, is there nothing else interesting going on right now? Is that it? Those are just the big things and nothing else happening? Let's see. Yeah, we did the Don Lemon stuff, the anti-ICE protests, students walk out. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's too much else going on. Shit, maybe we'll watch some entertaining shit then for a little bit, and If it doesn't pick up, my Twitter is all Epstein. Yeah, if it doesn't pick up, maybe we'll finish a little early tonight. Let me start by doing my dailies. Usually by now I'd start arc rating with Cinderella, but I don't think he's here right now. Alright. Well, here, let me pick something to watch while I'm doing this.
I got
Pushing the Limits. Brian Shapiro, I like this guy. He is the embodiment of Nebraska Steve.
see all the videos.
You got to see all the videos. I thought you said. I thought you said you saw all the videos. Were you lying to me?
I read an article.
You read an article and you didn't see all the shootings.
Oh man, all this stuff that's going on in Minneapolis, it's just so unfortunate. But the thing that's overlooked is that a lot of this stuff would not be happening if these protesters would not be interfering with ICE operations. That's just the main thing. I mean, it's just like you get caught up in protesting and you try to interfere and you get in the way. It's like FAFO, now they're finding out, sadly.
Okay, but Brandon, explain to me how this guy Preddy interfered with an investigation.
Well, because they insert themselves into the middle of it. They should stand off to the side. They can protest, they can blow the whistles, they can do whatever.
Hold on. Who approached who? Did Preddy approach the Border Patrol agents, or did they approach him?
Well, he was in there. He got jammed up in the middle of the thing trying to help that girl out when he should have just stayed away from it.
Okay, so helping somebody up, I'm not going to criticize somebody. It is a normal human reaction, especially in this case, if a woman is pushed to the ground to help her up. I think most reasonable people would not consider that being getting in the way of some sort of investigation. It is a normal human element. Seconds after he tried to help this woman up, he was pepper sprayed, pushed to the ground, beaten by officers, and then shot and killed. So I would hope that you wouldn't blame Preddy for what took place, because to my knowledge, he wasn't breaking any laws, and it appears to me that he was murdered. Would you agree with that statement?
Well, I have to take a closer look at the video. I don't think, he shouldn't have been interfering with the agents.
How did he? All you've said is that he helped a woman up. By no standards in law enforcement would they claim that you're interfering in an investigation by helping somebody off the ground. Taking out your video as your cell phone and recording is also not interfering. We have a First Amendment right to peacefully protest. So I'm asking you again, I'm wondering why your initial reaction is you're not ready to defend him. I'm asking you keep saying he was interfering. Can you please articulate to me what he was doing by interfering? Brandon, I'm trying to be fair. I think that's a fair question to ask, right, Brandon?
Well, you see all these protests, and you see videos of the tear gassing and agents roughing up protesters.
I'm not talking about other situations. I'm happy to have that conversation with you, but right now let's try to focus on Preddy because I find this problematic. You're entitled to your opinion, but you said that he interfered. It's also the narrative of people on the far right. He interfered, and I'm trying to get you to please articulate why you believe he interfered. All you've said is he helped a woman up off the ground, which is laughable if you think that's interfering in an investigation. So I ask you again, if you don't have any evidence, then tell me, and then we can start the conversation again over. But how did he interfere?
Well, because he was with another protester who was initially interfering with ICE operations, trying to follow them around and get in the way when all they should be doing is standing off to the side.
Following an ICE officer or a Border Patrol agent officer is also not against the law. When you use
right, you can do that, but don't interfere.
Okay, but interfering in an investigation is against the law. It's a felony.
Absolutely.
Okay, so articulate what he did. You still haven't told me, Brad. I'm trying to be calm here. What did he do to interfere in the investigation? All you said was he helped a woman up, and you allege that somebody else was following them. It hasn't been.
He started fighting with the cops.
No, he did not. Who got physical first, Preddy or the officers?
He was egging them on.
No. Okay, define egging them on. What did he do that broke the law? Tell me.
He was he was going at the officers.
Well, what do you
had to.
We just established that the officers.
Same thing with Renee Good.
Hold on. Let's focus on Preddy. Hold on. Let's focus on Preddy. You just said that he was, quote, going at the officers. Not factually accurate. In fact, the officers are the ones that went at him. You just said that he assaulted officers. Also not true. They pepper sprayed him. They pushed him to the ground. He had his arms.
He was going for his holster.
No, he wasn't. That is a lie. Where did you get that from? Where did you get the information? You're not going to spread misinformation on this show, especially from somebody that was murdered. Where did you get the
I read it somewhere.
You read it somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. You read. Good. I read you're a pedophile somewhere. Does that mean you're a pedophile? Where did you get the information that he reached for his holster? Not only is that not true, but it's defamation of a guy that was murdered. Are you going to apologize for what you just said? Nowhere is there any evidence in any camera angle that he brandished his weapon or reached for it. You are either lying or severely misinformed. Are you going to retract what you just said?
No, I'm not.
No, you're not. Okay, fine.
Him.
You're not going to retract it, then I'm not going to retract what I said. I read an article that Brandon molested children. I read an article that both of your parents rape children. What do you think about that, Brandon? Does that make you happy? Are your parents still alive right now? Brandon, are your parents still alive right now? Answer the damn question.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Well,
Bumblebee.
Okay, good. Don't call me Bumblebee. You lied.
That's what you look like.
You lied. And you're an imbecile because you sound like it and you
That's what he could come up with.
look like it. You're an imbecile. Now I ask you again, because you're being exposed right now for being the liar that you are. Where did you get the information that Mr. Preddy reached for his weapon? Give me the answer right now.
I read it on the Gateway Pundit.
Oh, you really? So you read somewhere on the Gateway Pundit that he reached for his weapon. We all saw the video. We all saw the camera angles. Nowhere in any of those. Brandon, did you see all the angles? Did you see all the video?
I did.
Okay, in all those videos.
And it's very hard to see, but they must have had a good reason to shoot him.
Yeah, they must have, right, Brandon? They must have.
Come on.
Brandon,
did
you see?
Why would an officer just shoot someone 10 times without cause?
Oh, yeah, you're right, because officers never break the law. Yeah, okay, let's go with that stupid narrative.
Most of them don't.
Brandon,
yeah,
you're right. Most of them don't, but some of them do, dummy. Now, pay attention.
Tragic.
Pay attention. I'll be quiet. I don't want to hear you talk about tragic when you lie about the guy who was killed. You saw all the videos. In those videos, did you ever see him reach for the gun?
Well, according to this one article,
in your videos, I didn't ask you about some stupid article. In all the videos that you saw, did you see
the body cam
too? I didn't ask you about the body cam. I didn't ask you about the article. Please pay attention. In all the videos that you saw, did you see him reach for anything?
Well, the other agents are blocking his view.
Okay, so the answer. All right, so the answer is no. The answer is no. Brandon, did you see one of those?
I didn't say no.
Brandon, did you see one of those officers take a weapon away? Did you see him walk away? Did you see that video, as I saw?
Yeah, I saw that.
You did. Okay, thank you. Thank
you.
Did he have another weapon on him, Brandon?
He was going for his waistband or
Brandon,
something.
he did not go. Brandon, I need you to focus. We've established that's
not
true.
Suicide by cop at this point.
Brandon, did he have a weapon on him when he was shot and killed? Is there any evidence?
He could have had another weapon.
Brandon,
they don't know that.
Brandon,
oh my God, he could have had another weapon. They don't.
This
guy sucks.
Come on. Pot him down. Brandon, I didn't ask you if he could have had a weapon. I asked you if he did. So I'm going to ask you one more time. Number one, he did not reach for a weapon. He did not brandish a weapon. I'm now asking you for a second and third time. Did he have a second weapon on him? Answer it, yes or no.
I'm not aware. I'm not aware.
Well, we finally agree on something. You're not aware of a lot of things. Okay, so Brandon, the answer is no. They have not said that he had another weapon on him, meaning he was shot and killed without a weapon on his person. So please explain to me how you can defend this man lying on the ground without a weapon on him, being shot 4 times in the chest, once in the shoulder, once in the neck. How can you defend that if he was unarmed, Brandon? Please answer the question.
It's terrible. I mean, if he's unarmed and they shot him like that, it's terrible. Exactly. But they must have had.
They must have had
cause
so
to
it's
shoot
not.
him. I mean,
so it's not possible that maybe they didn't have self-cause, as you would say.
Yeah,
That's
right.
not possible.
They didn't just mow him down randomly. It
Okay,
wasn't
so
just
what happened then?
Put him down.
So if you shoot an unarmed person, what would be their excuse for shooting him 5 or 6 times? What would be a plausible excuse?
You better have a damn good reason to articulate
And what's the
that your
reason?
life was
And
in
what's the
danger.
reason? And what's the reason? Tell me, if he was unarmed, what's the reason?
I got to see all the videos.
You got to
They-
see all the
they
videos.
clearly
I
had a
thought you
reason
said.
to shoot him,
I
just
thought
like
you
how-
said.
Okay, see, here is where I would. This is where I think at this point I wouldn't do this sort of hardcore tactic. Like, it's fun to watch him and he's like an ass all the time, but like at this point, there's a crack. There's a crack in this guy's narrative, and if you just get right in there and like, you know, pry it open, you could get this guy to change his mind. I don't think it's easy to do that if you're just berating him constantly. Like, you've got that crack. Now it's time to shift your tone a little bit and widen that crack. Have the discussion.
Saw all the videos. Were you lying to
read
me?
it in an article.
You read an article
But you
and you
can't
didn't
see-
see
you
all the
can't
shootings.
see- you can't-
So you
there's
read
a
an
lot of people in
article.
the scuffle.
So you read an article on the Gateway Pundit. You didn't see all the videos, but you seem to know exactly what happened. Brandon, get the hell out of here, man. You're just not smart enough to have a conversation with me. You're an idiot. He did not reach for his waistband. He never brandished the weapon. He was unarmed when he was shot and killed. And everything you say is, well, they must have had a reason. You're an imbecile. The difference between you and me, Brandon, is you always believe our government, and you always believe that every single time an officer
I think
does
you could have
something,
changed
they
this
must
guy's
be
mind.
100% in the right. Well, guess
think
what,
you could have
Brandon?
changed
I'm
this
not
guy's
naive,
mind.
and I'm not a doofus like you, and I have 2 of my own eyes. And guess what? Unlike you, you lied to me earlier in this call. You said you saw all the videos. Then you said you didn't. Well, guess what? I did. I saw the video. I saw the videos. I've seen every angle. I've watched it hundreds of times. And it's clear as day to me what happened. This guy was recording with his cell phone, wasn't breaking the law. He wasn't interfering in an investigation. He had one hand out like this. He had another hand that was recording. A woman was pushed to the ground. Those Border Patrol agents addressed him. He tried to help a woman up, which is, I think, a normal thing to do for any human being. The officer, the Border Patrol agent, immediately pepper sprays him. He falls to the ground, and they immediately beat him. They're kicking him in the head. They're punching him in the head. He is putting his hands and his arms over his body to protect himself. And in those moments, they find that he has a gun on him, which he did not brandish. They yell, gun, gun, gun. Seconds later, an officer takes the gun and leaves that immediate area. You see the video of this happening. And then a couple seconds later, an unarmed man
22,
is shot
2.4
and killed.
kilometers. Okay.
That is why I
Not
call
bad.
it murder. Let's see those body cameras, but I bet you they won't see the light of day. You won't see him reach for a weapon, and there will be no defense for these ICE or some of these Border Patrol agent officers who ended this man's life, and that's why it's murder. If you think that there must be a legitimate reason for why they shot and killed this man, then you are an imbecile.
So yeah, this guy's fun to watch. He's like a constant Nebraska Steve, but sometimes I feel like he misses the opportunity to change some minds because he's going so hard on him all the time. Ooh, what's this?
If he loses, man, what?
You're fucked, dude. I'm fucked. If he loses, I'm fucked.
It does seem that way. You can't just be like, yo,
Yeah, I'm like, how long do you think my prison sentence is going to be? Do you think? Will I see my children?
If he loses, man, what?
Jesus Christ.
I want to talk about the incident that happened to Don Lemon. I believe he was arrested.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with him being arrested, but I mean, I also would agree that disrupting a church service and protesting is just stupid.
How did he disrupt the service?
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, he was part of the protest and he was recording, and I know
So
he
you
was in
think
the church.
so? Taking out your cell phone and recording is disrupting an entire church service?
No,
Okay.
I don't think it is.
Okay, so
I mean,
okay.
to be
Well,
fair,
let's focus on Don Lemon. I don't want to talk about the protesters because I agree with you. You shouldn't. I've said that ad nauseum. Where do you disagree with me on this? You just said that you don't think he should have been arrested. You just agreed
Yeah,
that.
I don't.
Okay. Okay. So where do you disagree with me on then? Help me understand, my friend.
I just heard he was part of the protest.
Okay,
And
what do you mean you heard? What do you mean you heard he was part of the protest? Who cares?
I saw videos.
Looks like
Okay, so you
60s,
didn't
maybe?
hear, you saw videos. What did you see in the video? Okay, so let's rephrase that. What did you see in the video that would lead you to believe that he was protesting?
I don't know if he was directly protesting. but
Okay, so
I
don't
did
say
see, people.
so don't say that then.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I apologize, but when he was recording and when he was talking to one of the members of the church, he was defending it. You know, he was defending.
Okay, well, that's an opinion, and we have a First Amendment right, don't we? At last I checked, freedom of speech. You have a right to agree or disagree with certain people. That's not against the law. So what did he do to disrupt? You haven't given me where do we disagree on?
Stahl.
No, I mean that's true. That's fair. I mean, I just thought he was part of the protest. You know.
Okay, but he wasn't. He recorded it. Yeah, that's okay. That's all right. I mess up all the time. It's okay. All right. So what else? What else? So you called in to talk about Don Lemon. We agree fundamentally that he shouldn't have been arrested. Okay, good. I'm glad we came to some sort of agreement there. I appreciate that. What do you make of the fact that the Trump administration, literally, the Trump administration, no accountability, at least to this point, of any of these officers with these two murders. While this is all going on, the Epstein files are released, Trump's name in it hundreds of times in these 3 million documents. But it seems like not you, but a lot of people on the MAGA right. I don't know what side you're on, sir, and it doesn't really matter. But
I'm conservative.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. But it seems like a lot of people on the far right don't want to talk about those issues, and they want to talk about Don Lemon. What do you make of that, sir?
Well, I mean, we already got past the Don Lemon issue. I think Don Lemon should probably be the least of their worries. I mean, what he did is not even really considered bad compared to what the victims have suffered, you know, at the hands of ICE. You know, Renee Good and Alex Preddy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those two, you know, those acts are they're not really comparable because one is way worse than the other, you know.
Well, I tend to disagree with you on that. What do you mean one is worse than the other? What do you mean by that?
No, that the shooting that happened to Renee and Alex is far worse than what Don Lemon did.
Oh, okay. I misinterpreted. Okay, I understand.
Right?
Obviously, I agree with you. Of course.
What are we looking at?
Right, but with the incident of Alex Preddy, I do think, and I'm not obviously going to justify the shooting because what happened was horrible and should have never happened. But, you know, I did see actually there was a new video that released, I believe 11 days ago after the incident in which he was killed or murdered, where he was kicking an ICE agent's car and destroying the tail.
Why is that relevant? Why is that relevant?
Well, I mean, it's not relevant, but it's also not something you do.
Okay,
right?
but well, there's a lot of things. Sometimes people can speed. Sometimes people could kick a car. There's a lot of things that maybe you shouldn't do, but that doesn't warrant executing somebody. So why bring it up if you admit it that it's not relevant? Why are you bringing that up? Why? Help me understand. He's dead, sir. He was murdered. He was executed. Why are you bringing up him kicking a car? I'm sure you would admit that you in your life or me in my life at one point or another probably did something just as bad, if not worse, than maybe kicking a taillight. Why is that relevant? Why are we even talking about that? Help me understand.
Well, like I said, I don't justify the murder, and I condemn all instances.
Okay, so I appreciate it.
I'm conservative.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you saying that, but why even bring up him kicking a car? Why?
That double
because
too,
that's a
right?
crime.
Okay, so first of all, he wasn't arrested. That's number one. Number two, even if he did commit a crime, why is that relevant to what happened to him 11 days later?
No, it's not. I'm not.
So why are we talking about that? Why won't we focus on what happened when he was killed? Why are you bringing up him kicking? Who cares if he kicked the bumper of a car? What is it, a misdemeanor?
Sure.
Who cares?
Okay, I'm not trying to argue here.
I'm not trying to argue either. I'm just trying to understand, Nelson. You sound like a really nice guy. You're falling into the... Okay, Nelson, yeah. I appreciate that, but you're falling into the right-wing trap. That's what they want you to do. They want you to focus on him kicking a bumper. Who the F cares? He was executed 11 days later. Kristi Noem said that he was a terrorist. Stephen Miller said that he was an assassin. He never reached for his weapon. He never assaulted officers. If the worst thing a guy does in his life is kick a bumper, he's a pretty damn good guy. Why are we even talking about that? That's why I'm frustrated. We should be talking about accountability for the officers who executed him in the streets of Minneapolis.
I agree, and like I said, even though kicking the tail light was a crime, it doesn't justify his death. I completely agree, 100%.
Okay, I agree.
I'm not disputing that.
So why are you bringing it up?
Well, because it makes him seem, like he was. I don't want to get you angry. I'm not trying to piss anybody off, but it makes him seem like in a way he was a bit of an agitator.
Okay, so what did he do what law did he break when he was executed?
No. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that he kicked the tail.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what he kicked. I don't care. I don't care what he kicked. 11 days later, he was executed. The day he was executed, what laws was he breaking? Because that's really what matters here.
Well, obviously, at the time of his execution, he wasn't breaking any laws.
Okay, so why aren't we focusing on that? Why are we talking about a misdemeanor 11 days earlier? I don't understand why that's relevant to this conversation. I really don't. I don't think it's relevant. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. You're falling into the right-wing trap. And what we should be really focusing on, and you're entitled to your opinion, but what we should be focusing on is why still there's no accountability for Jonathan Ross, and there's no accountability yet for any of these officers who executed Alex Preddy. That's to me far more relevant than kicking a bumper of a car, which is completely irrelevant.
I completely agree with you. Okay. And obviously because police have more immunity than normal civilians, which I disagree with.
Not criminally, they don't. Not criminally, they don't. Not criminally. If you're talking about liability civilly, yes, I would agree with you. Not criminally.
Oh, okay.
Do you think it was murder? Do you think that they murdered Renee Good and Alex Preddy? What are your opinions on that?
100%. 100%.
Well, I'm happy to hear you say that. Why do you think the Trump administration is protecting them?
Well, I mean, the Trump administration pretty much probably protects not just ICE, but all branches of law enforcement. Pretty much just
they
about
do. Do they protect? Do they protect pedophiles? Do they protect pedophiles too?
I'm a level-headed person.
I understand. I appreciate that. Do they protect pedophiles too?
Unfortunately, they have. Yes.
Did you vote for Trump?
I did not vote for Trump. My family's Democratic, and they wanted me to vote for Kamala Harris, but I just voted for Kamala just to make him happy. But honestly, if it was me, I wouldn't have voted at all. But yes, I did vote Kamala.
What up,
okay, I understand. Okay, so help me out here, Nelson, if you may, and tell me if you think this is fair. Instead of focusing on a guy kicking a bumper, which I think I really don't care, I think it's irrelevant, can we try to focus on what took place the day he was executed instead? Is that a fair request that I'm asking you?
The day he was, yeah, absolutely. We can focus on that.
I'm just saying for you.
Recording his phone.
I'm just saying for you. I'm just saying for you personally. I think it would be much better.
They've got the little C.
You agree with
me.
me. For the most part, we fundamentally
right?
agree this was murder. Okay, so if we fundamentally agree this is murder,
they've got that C with the squiggly on
Let's
it.
make sure that people are held to account. And who gives two flying F's if he kicked a bumper 11 days earlier? That's what right-wing media want you to focus on. I refuse to do that. You sound like you're too smart of a guy to allow that to enter your brain. Who cares? Okay?
Sure.
All that matters, they tried to do the same stuff with George Floyd. He was a bad guy. Look at the bad stuff he did. All that mattered is the 9 minutes that Derek Chauvin had his knee on George Floyd's neck and murdered him. All that matters is those few minutes when Alex Preddy was executed. That's all that matters here, not kicking a bumper. Make sense?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay,
I
good.
try to come at it as level-headed and as humble and as non-biased as I possibly could.
Okay, good.
Even though I'm conservative, I try to be level-headed.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you calling in, Nelson. And you're welcome to call back anytime. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you have.
Oh, maybe it's Albania. Damn, this is tough. I saw a C with the squiggly, but I don't see any more when I zoom in. Where's, oh no, there's one. Okay. This is the way these things are written is making me think. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. Oh no, Istanbul. Oh no. Okay, that's fine. I was only 1 year off. That's not bad. It wasn't too far. Is that the Louvre? Looks like the Louvre in like the 90s. Like 98 maybe? What's that? That can't be a phone, right? It's like a mirror. Cats. They're gonna be like right here. Maybe. 1 year off. Oh, they were right there. Still, only 50 off perfect. And then this is the last one. United Dairies, London. Yeah, this is London, obviously. What is this? What year are we looking at here? It's an old fucking car. Like the 30s or the 20s. Yeah, let's say like 36 maybe? Okay. Where's that big fucking gate? Where's them Biggs arches? Hmm. It's gotta be like one of these areas, right? Like a big square too. This should stand out. This is a big open area. If it still looks like that, that is. Oh, maybe, who knows, maybe they got busted up during the bombings. Now that I think about it, we never know. So that seems like it'd be a big landmark. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen this thing before. I'm not sure where it is. Looks like a big fucking wall right in the middle of downtown. Arlington Street. Where's that? Where's the fucking gate? Fucking archers. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to guess. I'm switching between British and Australian. Not good. Not good. You know, of all the places I've been to, I've never really been to London. I really want to go at some point. Oh. Interestingly shaped here. What's this building? Do people live here? It's a shopping area. I'm just gonna guess soon. If I don't see it real soon. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to guess, I think. It's gotta be like a big, important area. Let's go with, I don't know, there's a lot of potential places over here. This is like downtown. Or is that like an entrance to the castle or something? I mean, that's what I'm looking at. Like a big gated entrance to fucking palace or something. Jesus Christ, this fucking thing is ridiculous. Right? Wait. Yeah, okay. I don't fucking know. We're just gonna guess around here somewhere. I don't know, maybe here. Oh, yeah! Fuck yeah! And only 4 years off. Final score? Almost 4,600. Well done. Well done, everyone. Very well done. Yeah, we should all be proud of ourselves. Very good. Yes. Indeed. Good times. Good times being hit by all. Alright. I don't know if there's anything else I want to do tonight. I was feeling maybe some arc rating with Cinderella, but I'm feeling a little bleh. Feeling a little tapered off. I might just end things early tonight. Let me see if there's any videos I want to watch first with you guys. Maybe, oh no. I don't know. Oh, Nate Rooney. No, I didn't. Here we go. Here we fucking go. Oh god, I hope this dude isn't just a fucking stooge, but I'm sure he will be, right? Let's see.
This Fed horse race has swung a bunch of different ways since the process began last September. Kevin Warsh is a former Fed governor, has a reputation as a bit of a maverick. He believes basically that the Fed needs kind of a house cleaning.
This isn't the first time you've heard me in the last decade say we need regime change at the Fed. It's not just about a person, it's about an approach to economics. It's about approach to what they're doing. And I'm troubled when I see them moving the goalposts.
He's most notably known for serving on the board during the financial crisis. He served under Bernanke. Since then, he's had more private sector advisory type roles.
Whoa, no. Oh boy.
Other administration officials, they want to see somebody go in there and just kick over some chairs and really kind of shake the Fed at its core, and Warsh would be that guy. Warsh has expressed in the past some skepticism over the Fed's use of its balance sheet. They expanded it to like over $4 trillion. Warsh was not necessarily on board with that.
I don't think we need policy continuity that brought about the greatest mistake in macroeconomic policy in 45 years, that divided the country, that caused a surge in inflation.
This version of the Fed has done that on steroids, taking that balance sheet now all the way up close to $9 trillion at one point. He is more of a small balance sheet guy, and that's not something that Trump would like.
He has a somewhat hawkish lean, and that is something that, all else equal, puts upward pressure on rates. Kevin Warsh has been passed over for a number of times for some of the seats under the Trump administration, but Trump is keen towards Kevin Warsh, in part because of his family history. He married into the Lauder family. So Estee Lauder, the cosmetics company. His father-in-law is Ron Lauder. He is a big...
Yeah, actually, this is not so bad, and it doesn't sound like he's a guy who's just going to do anything Trump wants. I don't see him raising and lowering interest rates at the behest of the president.
Ally.
Based on this little description
Ron
of him.
Lauder supposedly came up with the idea about the U.S. taking over Greenland and threw it to Trump. This is one reason for Trump perhaps being more favorable to Kevin Warsh.
How far would he go towards lowering interest rates? It's hard to say. It's hard to say for anybody.
It's hard to look at the incoming data and say that policy is significantly restrictive at this time. It may be sort of loosely neutral, or it may be somewhat restrictive. You know, it's in the eye of the beholder.
I would expect to see a number of dissents under the next Fed chair, especially if it is somebody who is trying to push through their policy objectives that are somewhat politically motivated.
Consensus building is one of the main jobs of a Fed chair. Janet Yellen was skilled at it. Ben Bernanke was very skilled at it. Jerome Powell has had to fight a little bit harder. This particular FOMC this year has a very eclectic kind of mix of hawks and doves. It's going to be a very difficult job.
President Trump has indeed tapped Kevin Warsh to lead the Federal Reserve. The president made the announcement on Truth Social this morning, where he touted the nominee's credentials. He noted that Warsh was the youngest person ever to be a Federal Reserve governor. For more on the announcement and background on Warsh, we're joined by Yahoo Finance Fed correspondent Jennifer Schonberger. Jen?
Good morning, Julie. That's right. President Trump has tapped former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve. The president saying in a Truth Social post when he made this announcement just shy of 7 a.m. this morning that he's known Kevin.
He might do like one rate cut, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did a rate cut anyway because the economy's looking so fucking shaky. Inflation and jobs-wise.
For a long time, he has no doubt that he will go down in history as one of the great Fed chairmen, and notably the president saying he will never let you down. We know the president had been looking for someone who would be loyal to him, someone who shared his view that interest rates need to be lower, and Kevin Warsh is of the mindset that rates should be lower. He has been a Fed governor himself himself. Warsh was a Fed governor appointed by former President George W. Bush from 2006 to 2011, and it was during that time that we experienced the great financial crisis, and he acted as the liaison to Wall Street during that time. He is also,
I mean, Trump's just shooting himself in the foot. It's because he's actually retarded and doesn't understand the economy. He thinks rate cuts means great. Everything's going to be better because the rates are cut. That's how simple his fucking mind is.
Worked at Morgan Stanley at M&A, and he holds a degree in public policy from Stanford with a focus in economics, as well as a law degree from Harvard University. And now the president had been looking at Warsh to be the potential Fed chair back in 2017 during his first term. He ultimately was steered by then Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin to go with Jerome Powell, something that the president has lamented on numerous times he felt was a mistake. So here we are a second time around, Kevin Warsh, now the nominee. As you mentioned, he has historically been a hawk. He has been one to raise interest rates in the face of inflation. Over the past year, he has taken a bit of a different tact. He said that the Fed needs to throw this notion of stagflation out the window, that we have a productivity surge that is being driven by AI that will bring down inflation and thus rates can come lower. And he believes any impact from tariffs
just fucking magically? What the fuck are you talking about?
Will be a one-time occurrence.
And Jen, just quickly, he still has to be confirmed as well. And Senator Tom Tillis out this morning saying he is still on track to block a confirmation going forward.
That's right. This is a bit of a historical time right now because the Department of Justice has opened a criminal investigation into current chair Jay Powell over his testimony before the Senate last summer. And Tom Tillis, as you mentioned, has vowed to block any nomination by the president until that criminal investigation is resolved. And there are other Republicans in the Senate as well who do back that. So that could be a bit of a fly in the ointment here that could prolong the process. There's no knowing how long that is going to take. But we do know that there is support within.
In the AI industry, yeah, I was going to say the AI industry is not going to do, like, in other industries, I can see that being the case, right? But, like, the purpose of AI, the use of AI, that explosion, hasn't really happened the way people have wanted it to. I don't see it affecting productivity on a wide scale yet.
The ranks of Republicans for Warsh, so perhaps once that is passed, it should be a quick confirmation process to get Warsh in place.
We shall see. Jennifer, thanks very much. Jennifer mentioned the sort of history of Warsh here, that he served on the Fed during the great financial crisis, and there have been a lot of questions about his positioning during that time. I mean, but how do we bring that to today and try to extrapolate what kind of Fed chair this guy's going to be?
Well, I think the first question to ask is Kevin Warsh a man for all seasons or a chameleon? You know, he's traditionally leans to the hawkish side.
But the problem is it's not matured well enough for that yet. It's premature.
He certainly has some what we'll just call unorthodox views on the radical reduction of the balance sheet. You know, low rates, liquidity, and leverage are the holy trinity of modern finance. We've got a $31 trillion economy that demands a much larger balance sheet than what existed 20 years ago. A lot of times when I hear Kevin Warsh speak, I'm hearing an echo of 2007, where, let's just be blunt about this, he missed the mark. He was arguing for an over-concern and really too much of a focus on inflation at a time when the economy was experiencing a deflationary, depressionary-like shock, and unemployment was on its way to 10.1%. So there's good reason out there while Wall Street is looking at this, at least interpreting it early, as a hawkish appointment.
Well,
and Mr.
Yeah. I mean, it's just part of computing progress, right? It's just because now they have a chat bot.
Warsh needs to be pressed inside the Senate Banking
But
Committee.
it's not ready to
on,
take over like all of these jobs like everyone's expecting them to.
Will he preserve the central bank independence? Just what does he mean by reducing the balance sheet? What does he want to go with reforming the Federal Reserve? And what's his views on things such as reducing the supplemental leverage ratio within the context of financial deregulation, which is clearly going to be one of the big things this year, Julie?
Okay, Julian, let's get to you because we are seeing yields come up a little bit on this nomination. How do you think that, what are the market implications of this pick?
Well, let's step back for a moment, Julie, and consider the horrendous inflation statistics we got at 8:30 this morning. And in fact, given those numbers, the yields are actually very tame. In our mind, Warsh is really the example of that Keynesian statement, when the facts change, I change. And he's been very quick to acknowledge the potential productivity boost to AI, which is something we at Evercore ISI are firmly convinced is in the process of occurring. And so from that perspective, he is likely to be less dogmatic than believed. And frankly, when you think about markets, the push-pull of Trump this week endorsing a lower dollar versus Bessent coming on and saying, no, we want a stronger dollar, and the perception of Warsh being a hawk, not necessarily.
I don't even want to comment. How fucking retarded is that?
Necessarily at the short end with regard to interest rates, but at the longer end with regard to the balance sheet is actually the countervailing force that keeps the dollar intact. And in our mind, the fact that the dollar is firmer here is really good news and ultimately will translate into good news for stocks.
And by the way, the horrendous inflation data you're referring to is producer prices, which were out this morning, wholesale inflation, which rose final demand month over month 0.5%, which is 0.3 of a percentage point worse than expected, higher than expected. So there you go. That's the backdrop that we're referring to here. Getting back to Warsh, Joe, does a Warsh pick make it more or less likely that Jay Powell will stay on as a member of the Fed?
I think it's probably less likely. Let me address something Julian just said there on productivity. Well, productivity is increasing, and we think we will get a productivity boom. This has to do with investments made during the 2021-22 vintage. What's going on right now with AI is not going to show up for many years. We probably won't even see that to 29-30. So if Kevin Warsh is out there making points about AI will allow us to keep rates lower than we otherwise would right now, let me tell you, that's a real inflationary risk. That PPI data, you know what that implies when we...
Why am I not doing this guy's job?
The PCE data, which is what the Fed sets policy on, PCE is going to be at or above 3.1, core PCE well above that. And as far as we know, that core PCE number is the best long-run predictor of inflation. Let me tell you, this economy is not going to get back to 2% inflation anytime soon. We're going to be running at or near 3% for some time, and that's why Kevin Warsh has to be pressed on these views.
There are also implications of what you're talking about in terms of that inflation outlook, and Julian, what you're talking about in terms of the dollar. For the metals. We got to talk about the metals this morning, Julian. And I know you've been getting a lot of client incoming questions about what's been going on because we have seen these soaring gold and silver prices, but today we are seeing them reverse in dramatic fashion. So what are you telling them when they call you and ask you about this?
No, and actually, again, the correlation between stocks and the metals shifts in the near term and in the longer term, and in the lens of this week, frankly, more clients want to talk about gold and silver than they want to talk about stocks, and it has really been a very tense conversation, wondering what it is that the metals show about the danger in other risk assets, and frankly, this action today tells you what they show is just an asset class that's gotten carried away speculatively, and some of the froth is being blown off. And to that extent, it's actually balm for the equity investor. The message is not as profound as one might have thought a couple days ago.
So-
and that's too is positive for stocks.
Sorry, just to put this a different way then, Julian, you don't think that the soaring prices that we have seen are reflective of some deep-seated concerns about, say, the long-term viability of the dollar?
Well, look, if you think about all the reasons that various investors might have for going into gold, and in our view,
Jesus,
the dollar
dude.
made a major multi-year top last year, and so from that perspective alone, the asset reallocation that we've seen, whether it's into metals or into international equities, is a logical outcropping of that top. But in our mind,
They're
this
just
is
tanking.
in no
Gold and
means
silver
a
are
sort
tanking.
of sell.
Oh, I kind of love it whenever gold and silver tank, just because I can hear all of those crazy gold standard retards out there fucking losing their goddamn minds because they spent their life savings on gold and now it's only worth half what it was.
The U.S. Type trade that a lot of the people expressing more concern have talked about, and to that end, you know, Warsh is actually calming for that aspect as a counterpoint to President Trump, who would prefer a weaker dollar on balance.
Great.
Yep. And then Trump parades it around like, the dollar's getting lower. How great is that? And then Scott Bessent comes out in as many words as like, no, sorry, don't listen to the orange senile retarded orangutan. Okay, we want the dollar to be strong.
Discussion, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on to react to this news this morning. Joe, Julian, appreciate it.
Thank you.
President Trump has tapped Kevin Warsh to lead the Federal Reserve, ending months of speculation over who would succeed Chair Jerome Powell. Warsh is a former Fed governor. He aligned himself with Trump last year by publicly calling for lower rates.
I mean, like, if this keeps happening, then our debt crisis will become an actual fucking problem. Right now, we can manage it because people keep buying treasuries. But, like, if they start dumping all those treasuries, we're fucked.
Despite being a longtime hawk. Joining us now, Ed Yardeni Research President. And of course, Warsh was also considered to be head of the Fed when Powell ultimately got the job, Ed.
Right.
So what do you think of this pick? What do you think the markets think of this pick? And what kind of Fed chair ultimately is Kevin Warsh going to be?
Well, he definitely has a great resume.
Warsh is a Mar-a-Lago Accord member specifically?
Without a doubt, he is a pragmatist, as you mentioned. He has had some experience of being a hawk. Now he seems to be a dove.
Who is?
But I think he's going to be flexible. I think it's actually kind of fascinating that we got a fairly solid citizen here as a nominee.
Gotcha.
Makes you wonder what
of course I remember.
whether we needed all the drama that came with it. Of course
I remember.
It's not a sure thing.
But
that
Scott
he's gonna
Bessent doesn't seem to be agreeing with that. No, I do remember. I was asking. I read it like you were saying he was a member of the Mar-a-Lago Accords, like meetings and everything, is what I thought you were saying.
Through Congress, but I think he will, as long as the administration signals that they're going to back off on attacking Jerome Powell. Let him move on and let Warsh come in.
We'll see if that happens, Ed. I mean, listen, we certainly didn't need all the drama. But the guy in charge, he likes drama, Ed. So
He likes drama.
So I think that's what we can expect going forward. You know, I'm curious when you talk about Warsh's resume. I know that he has come under some criticism by some folks around his commentary around the great financial crisis, when he thought that the Fed should not be as stimulative necessarily with its balance sheet. Is there anything we can sort of say, draw any lessons we can look at from that time to now?
Well, I think most economists would agree that QE1 was a necessary injection of liquidity. The question about QE2, QE3 is very controversial. I agree with the position that we only needed that liquidity round, and the rest was not necessary. And zero interest rates were also an extreme abnormality back then. But that, we all learn from our jobs, learning by doing. I suspect he's had a lot of that.
Yes, fair, very fair point, Ed. Now, as you pointed out, we've heard some murmurings that Tom Tillis might try to hold up this nomination unless and until the criminal charges against Jay Powell are dropped.
Right.
Are any market implications if this gets held up for a significant period?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to get held up because I think the administration is going to back off on attacking Powell. There's no benefits in doing that. Powell's only mistake was that he didn't bring the project manager and an engineer when questions were asked about the renovation of the Fed. He clearly was out of his depth, and he just should have said, "I really don't know anything about that. I'll send you a letter." Right. So they got him on a picayune charge, quite honestly, and I think this too shall pass. Look, the administration's takes a tough, dramatic stand, as we just agreed, and then they kind of back off. They've done that on Greenland. They seem to be doing that maybe in Minneapolis. It looks like we're going to get a avoided
we heard
government
Jerome Powell.
shutdown,
We carry the
and now we
rates.
know who the Fed chair is. So there's a lot of uncertainties that actually are behind us.
Yeah, thank goodness. I'm also curious if you think that this Warsh pick makes it more or less likely that Powell will stay on the committee even if he is no longer chair.
Well, I'll quote the Fed Chair Powell. I have nothing for you on that. Who knows? If I was him, I'd say, enough's enough. Let's go fishing or play with the grandchildren.
Yeah, according to recent reports, that is his strong inclination, unless he feels like he has to stay.
Yeah, he doesn't really.
Yeah, I who could blame him, really, Ed? As for that confirmation hearing, when it does happen, what do you think the most important questions for Warsh are?
Well, I think Congress is going to dig deep into his loyalty to Trump. To what extent will he be independent of Trump? He should be completely independent of Trump, but clearly Trump has made it an issue. The problem for anybody who was going to be Fed chair is it's kind of the position got tainted by the politicization of the whole subject. So I think there's going to be a lot of questions on his independence. And does he agree that the Fed funds rate should be down to 1%? And I don't know how he's going to dance around that one because that's what Trump's been saying he wants. And there's no way that other 1% Fed voters agree with that.
Speaking of other Fed voters, Christopher Waller was out with a
Oh,
statement this
that
morning
would be the
explaining
best
his dissent,
troll.
which was quite interesting. Among other things,
That
he
would
said
be the best
last year's
troll.
data will be revised downward soon to likely show that there was virtually no growth in payroll employment in 2025, zero zip nada. And he said, let this sink in for a moment, zero job growth versus an average of almost 2 million for the 10 years prior to 2025. He says this does not remotely look like a healthy labor market. Do you agree, Ed?
Well, I think there's a lot of moving parts to explain what's going on here, and I'm not quite sure. I'm relatively sure that lowering interest rates isn't going to fix the labor market. There's issues with lots of kids coming out of school with student loans and with degrees that are very ambiguous about what their skills actually are. I think there's a huge mismatch between what the economy needs. So let's face it, we need a lot of plumbers and we need a lot of roofers and people in basic trades, and that's not what's coming out of college.
So what do you think we fix? How do we fix that? How do you fix that labor mismatch?
I think time will fix it. This is a major technological change that's going on in our economy right now, and it takes a while for people to kind of figure it out and reinvent themselves. I think we're seeing part of the fix in new business applications. They rose to 5 million, all-time record high of 5 million last year. I think a lot of people are saying, the heck with it. I'm not going to bother sending another round of 300 resumes. I'm just going to see if I can raise some money from the family or a bank or a credit card, and I'm going to start my own business.
And Ed, you talked about all of the sort of like lingering uncertainties
The
that we had at the
tariffs,
beginning
it's
of
the
this year,
tariffs.
some of which are now seeming to be resolved. I know that you're looking for gains in stocks
tariffs,
this
man.
year.
Yeah.
Anything that's happened thus far that has shaken you from that conviction, including the earnings we've seen so far?
No, I think the earnings outlook is great. The analysts thought it would be up 8% year over year coming into the fourth quarter. I think the numbers are going to be more like 10 to 12%. We've had really 3 quarters in a row now where earnings have been a lot better. We're going to have record earnings in the fourth quarter. I think that's pretty much a layup. We had record earnings in the third quarter, and earnings are really what drives the economy in the sense that profitable companies expand. They increase their spending on capital. In the past, they used to increase their payrolls. And, you know, the initial unemployment claims data and the continuing claims data give me some hope here that just as we've all given up on job expansion, suddenly it'll occur again. Maybe all that's been going on here is companies froze hiring until they figured out what AI could and could not do, and they're going to conclude that it can't do everything.
Let's hope that that's the case, Ed. Thanks a lot. It's great to see you as always.
My pleasure, Julie.
We started this session today with news that President Trump has nominated Kevin Warsh to be the next Fed chairman. If you're out there, and I'm going to get this question for people, so I'm going to put it right to an expert like you. No pressure, right?
No pressure.
No pressure. Does Kevin Warsh, how much of a factor should he be when you're trying to pick a tech or media stock to invest in? Should you even be thinking about who the next Fed chair will be? Why or why not?
I mean, ultimately, it's going to be about policy and their view about interest rates. Interest rates are an important dimension to the way that the market thinks about asset allocation. So I think if his view is to lower interest rates and take a much more dovish stance around rates, that may be a signal for small cap. It may be a signal for some of the riskier, more unique areas of the market. It may also be pretty bearish for the dollar. But we've been in an environment where the dollar has been very strong. And so if we see that start to reverse, it could change some of the dynamics in the market.
Well, that's that. I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight, friends. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. I hope you all have an awesome Friday. Cinderella is on. Make sure you all jump on over to his channel. Give him the views. Everybody have a beautiful time. I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.